Where is everybody? Good morning.
Morning. You sure?
What did you say?
What's up, Sam? Dale. Can't hear you.
Who all are we waiting for?
It's not 11. It's not 10 yet. You got a minute and a half. May 15th? May 15th. Supposed to be my wife's SIU date. Lord. All righty, guys. So it's about that time.
Are you
All right.
trying to say it's about to go down?
Yes, ma'am. Let's get it. All right, so our fearless leader is ready. So let's get down to it. Do you want me to mute this? So you're gonna be talking out of that one, right?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me? Live. Awesome.
Sandy, I can hear you. You're muted again.
That's fine.
Well, do you want me to leave it on mute or not?
Wait,
Because I got a
you're
lot
muted.
going on in the background.
Say something. There you go.
Huh?
There you go. I hear you now.
Okay.
You were muted.
I wasn't. Okay.
Yeah, you were muted here.
Oh, okay. All right. Got it. Okay.
We is recording.
All righty. Good morning, everybody. And I get to look here at this camera, right? Looking at this camera.
Yep. You're looking at
All right, got it. All right, good morning, everybody. We are going to have a great session here today. We are going to record, we're recording this so for future use. And main topics of this morning is we're going to do some mindset, and we're are you handling the acceptance or the, okay. We're going to be doing some mindset education and exercises, and then we're also going to be doing some life insurance mastery, I would like to call it. So we're going to do some mindset education, life insurance education, and we're going to take some action at the end, which is basically making phone calls to set appointments. Because without phone calls and appointments, everything, this is just like watching a movie. Okay. All right. Now, before we begin, Who actually did any type of morning routine?
I did.
You did? I did. Okay. So what was your morning routine like, Jessica? Yeah.
So routine, I meditated to, if you guys aren't familiar, 528 hertz. It's a sound frequency of love. So I meditate with that every morning. I wrote my goals out, what I'm grateful for, daily affirmations. I prayed and I did a Bible plan.
You
And that
want
was
to
my
come
morning
to
routine.
class?
It's all
That's
you, it's
nice
all
and
you.
eventful.
That was amazing. Wow. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. So how about you, Luis Romero? Yeah, I'm mute.
Well, let me turn on the camera. Every morning, anytime that I get in the car, one of the things that I've gotten in a habit of doing is I listen to meditation music. And in that time, wherever I'm driving, whether to work or whatever the case may be, I am going through my affirmations in the morning of what I'm setting my goals out to be. And I'm also expressing gratitude for everything that I have. Thankful for my health, for the health of my life, my wife, my family. And then I finish it off with kind of like a self-pep talk in the sense that you are going to be what you want to be. And the only one who's stopping you is me. So it's a 7-day-a-week thing. Every time I get in the car, I used to listen just to music, just to drive. I hate talk radio. Now I have a specific purpose to use that 20 to 30 minutes in the morning.
I'm just mind blown. Let me ask you a question, Luis. You never did any of this stuff.
No.
So tell me why you started doing this for yourself. What motivated you, and what are the changes you've seen because you've taken on some sort of morning routine to change the way you think and change your perspective and all that?
Well, why I've changed is, and it's a topic we were just discussing before we just jumped on this live, which is reading, and reading from people who have accomplished what we are trying to get accomplished throughout your life, whatever the case may be. In our situation, you want to become more financially free, to have more time. So it's already been done. So stop trying to reinvent the wheel, and obviously it worked for them. So let's try to, follow by the same footsteps. Like I said, I used to just listen to random music. I can never drive in a car without something in the background, but it can't be talking. I'm not really good at books on audio while I'm driving because the ADD kicks in. But I can listen to a different type of music. 528 hertz is one of them, and it helps me focus in on what I'm trying to get accomplished. And within that, what has changed is every day, every week, every month, the confidence level in my ability to speak about this particular arena of my life now, because I'm rebranding myself. I'm 51 years old. I've been in this education system for 25 years out of my life, and which is half of my life. And now I'm embarking in a different endeavor. And a lot of that has to do with you just changing your own perception of yourself. And that's how you can project it to somebody else.
Wow. I didn't expect such unbelievable delivery, bro. That was poetry. That was poetry. We got another teacher in the house, man. How about you, Alberto?
My morning routine. So the way that my morning routine looks like, I get up at 6 a.m. every morning. The first thing that I do before anything is I meditate. I do guided meditations for like about 20 minutes. I go into my zone and everything else. From there, I sit right after I do my meditation. I write my goals, everything that I'm grateful for. I go out and I do my 30 to 45-minute run, walk, whatever it is, just to get me sweating. And then I do my reading or studying. Depending, right now I'm studying for my test, so I actually first I read my quotes of the day. I'm reading 177 mental toughness quotes. It's a book. So I read my daily quote, and then I go into basically.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And any changes made for you to you've taken this on?
Significant. I mean, what can I tell you? Like Lewis said, like for me to sit down and read, that's crazy. Unheard of. My ADD kicks in. I could not concentrate. I would sit and, but now if I don't meditate prior to studying, it is even, like if I don't meditate at all, I feel, like something's slacking. I'm missing something. There's something that I didn't do or whatnot. So it's changed, the way that I focus, the ways that I see things, the way that I actually, my mind processes different things, and the way that I digest a lot of the daily situations that come to pass. We deal with a lot of people's issues, problems, yada, yada, yada. So actually, I'm getting better and better on a daily basis.
Wow. Once again, dude, you could teach. This is so awesome. I didn't expect this. I didn't know this is I don't know. I'm mind blown right now. I'm actually I'm very grateful, to be honest.
You've been listening, Daniel.
Yes. Jessica, and I didn't get a chance to ask you. So you went to college, you got your master's degree, you were, let's say, call it the corporate world. Did they teach any of this stuff over there?
No, they do not teach that at all.
And
Actually, like in that environment, it's kind of a get up and go, sit in traffic. It's awful, stressful. You get no like time to yourself. People are just kind of asking you for things early in the morning. It's chaotic. So this actually just like having a morning routine and taking the time to meditate and things like that, it completely changes your entire day. And I'll be honest, I actually went ahead and I skipped a day this week. I was like, oh, I'll just skip the meditation. I'll do everything else, but I'll skip meditation. It'll be fine. My whole day, I'm like, what's going on? And then I remembered, yeah, like, I'm like, why is all this like negative stuff happening? And then towards the end of the day, I was like, oh yeah, I did skip my meditation. And I knew not to do it, but I was like, oh, just, and but it really does. It makes a huge difference, even if you think it doesn't. Don't skip that.
that's phenomenal.
Yeah, because when you change your routine, it can
So
throw
and we're going to kind of
completely off.
be touching a little bit all these topics as they come up. I mean, there's, there's teaching in linear, like 1, 2, 3, but really the world is not linear. Like everything's happening all at the same time. Everything's happening all at the same time, right? So what happened there with Jessica, you see what happens is, and obviously, thank you guys for listening because this is an interesting topic. But if you think about it, let's say talk about Romero. Romero in the school system for many, many years, programmed to go to work, do your job, go home, and that's it, right? Here comes Primerica and meditation and reading. What happened to him, what happened to everybody here just spoke of, Roberto and Jessica and else to go here, is you gain a new level of awareness, right? You gain an awareness, and then you're like, oh my God, something opens up. And I'm going to start doing these practices, reading, meditate, all this kind of stuff. But then hello, hello.
Can you hear us? The video just paused. Yes, everything's froze.
Okay, we are working on it.
Hello?
Okay, we're here, guys. Technical difficulties. One moment.
Un momento, por favor.
Hello?
We are here. Oh, now you unmute yourself.
What happened with
There you
Jessica
go.
was,
Better.
and like Romero, when you don't know something, when you don't know, you don't know, it doesn't even matter. Like how many people in the world are going about their days and that they're just living life the way they don't even know that there's another way of living, another level of awareness. But once you get that level of awareness and then you go back to your old ways, your ability to catch yourself doing your old ways is what we call a pivot. So you want to write that down, P-I-V-O-T, P-I-V-O-T, it's called a pivot. Pivot, I learned pivoting in basketball. Like if you catch a pass, I have a choice. Like I can move my legs to go this way, I can pivot that way, which way I'm gonna go. But we can also pivot in our mind. And Jessica had the awareness to like, hold on a second. My days had some negative things happen today. Why am I having some negative things happen today? Oh my God, I skipped my meditation, right? And then because of that pivot, that awareness, she's like, okay, no problem. I see how I'm operating this way. I'm seeing how I'm operating this way. And she was able to change, right? And keep it moving. Because that's exactly what happened, right? You were right back on it the next thing, right? So we're gonna do, before we get into the what's going on with everything we just discussed, whether it's meditation, reading, overall personal development, before we get into that, I want to actually get everybody a little bit present. So we're going to do a simple breathing exercise, and I'm going to put up here on the screen so I can share it, because once again, whatever I share today is just to spark your curiosity. You're not going to learn everything you need to learn today. Actually, you're going to learn a lot, but the importance is that you write notes down and then you start doing your own research and applying this information. Everybody that you just heard that just shared their testimony on how meditation, breathing, and everything has helped everybody, they heard me talk about it, over and over and over again, and they've been through maybe whatever handful of workshops. But the reason why they are where they are in their exercise and their practice is because they went home, they actually did their own homework, their own study, their own research, their own practice, and their own implementation. Because the truth of it is, we're all individuals. And one of my lessons today is not to compare. And it's easy to compare. The mind is automatically going to compare, especially in Primerica. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. This person is so much better. This person present better. So everybody's going to be on their own path. So don't think you have to do it like somebody else does. The goal is that you figure out your own equation, right? Your own rhythm, right? So you want to write that down. Figure out my own equation, figure out my own rhythm, okay? So we're going to do something called a 4-7-8 breathing technique. And this is just to get us started. And the reason why is because our brain is always going, always going. If you think, if you're like, oh, I try to meditate, or I try to, and my brain's just too crazy. Everybody says the same damn crap. Oh, my brain is always racing. Oh, like if you're the only one that your brain is racing in the damn world, like stop it already. Like everybody's brain races, okay? Just some people decide to deal with it and some people decide not to deal with it, okay? So training our brain is just as important as exercising physically. So 4-7. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up on the screen right now. 4-7-8 breathing technique. 4-7 breathing. It is the easiest tool. Now, what I'm teaching you, I'm talking about Navy SEALs do this. I'm just trying to find right now a website that doesn't have all these ads. Navy SEALs do this. Olympians do this. Heads of CEOs are doing what about this is something that in a moment's notice. Now, this is basic, okay? This is something that you could do throughout the day. I want to do this real quick because I want to get everybody's minds rested so that we can go on with the lesson, and then we'll do a bigger meditation here in a few minutes, okay? Not a few minutes, like throughout the meeting, okay? But I want, in order for me to teach and it to land inside your mind and you understand it, this little breathing exercise is going to help out. All right, so let me share my screen. Share screen. Okay. So this is a simple little breathing exercise. If you want to look it up, don't worry. I don't need to send you this article. Just type up 4-7-8. Now this was invented by a gentleman named Dr. Weil. Can you all see my screen? Yeah. Okay, is it highlighted or no?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I have it.
All right. So what is the 4-7-8 breathing technique? The 4-7-8 breathing technique is a breathing pattern developed by Dr. Wow. It's based on an ancient yogic technique called pranayama, which helps practitioners gain control over their breathing. When practiced regularly, it's promised that this technique could help some fall asleep in a shorter period of time. So for those of you guys that maybe have trouble falling asleep, oh, I can't sleep at night, I can't sleep. Breathe! Freaking breathe! Damn it! Breathe, 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 breathe. When in doubt, breathe. And it's deliberate breathing because we obviously breathe all day long, but we're like not even thinking. We don't have to think of breathing. This is what I like to call deliberate breathing. Like I'm deliberately and intentionally going to take some breaths. Sometimes you see me relaxed and calm or excited at the same time. That's because I do a lot of heavy breathing all the time. All right. So I'm going to just read off this real quick. Breathing techniques are designed for the body to bring the body into a deep state of relaxation. Specific patterns that involve holding the breath for a period of time allow your body to replenish its oxygen. By the way, when we don't breathe, our bodies fill up with carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide, the reason why we take deep breaths is not because we need oxygen, is because we need to displace carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide brings acidity to our body. So when we breathe heavy, we remove the acidity and we're going to just naturally feel better. So from the lungs outward, techniques like the 4-7-8 breathing can give your organs and tissues much needed oxygen boost. So this has more to do with just relaxation in your mind. This fixes your body. Okay, relaxation practices also help bring the body back into balance and regulate the fight or flight. Now I'm going to stop right there and talk about fight or flight. There's something as a response system that we call our fight, flight, or even freeze mechanism. So I'm going to stop right here. This is a very important. We'll come back to it. You want to study fight or flight because we're about to fix fight or flight right now, temporarily fix. Fight or flight can go back to. There's a great example of that I hear all the time. If you were a caveman and you walk out the cave and there's a saber-toothed tiger there sitting around there just ready to eat you, you have a choice to make, right? You're going to either run from that tiger, you're going to fight the tiger, you're going to be like a deer in the headlights, right? You're just going to freeze and you're not going to know what to do. Well, that happens if you were walking down the alley and somebody shows up with a knife. You're going to fight, flight, or freeze. Now, thankfully, we have something in our body called the adrenaline. When you're in that situation, it takes over all of your chemicals from your body and it goes right to the area that you need to protect yourself to make an unconscious decision, right? That's how you heard those like those ladies that when their children are stuck under the car, that how are they able to lift the car and save their child, right? It's because of this fight or flight adrenaline mechanism. So unfortunately, fight or flight happens when you get recruited into Primerica. Let me sign my IBA, man. I'm going to change the world. I'm going to be district leader. I'm going to be RVP. I'm going to make all this money. I got to make a phone call and set an appointment. What are they going to think? All of that stuff starts to go in your head, okay? And the one way to eliminate that is breathing. If you breathe, that negative energy is going to go away. Those negative thoughts are going to go away, and you can actually enter into a place of more peace and calm and rationale. You're no longer what do you call it? Rationalizing. By the way, look at the word rationalize. It's rational lies. You're telling yourself rational lies. Okay. So breathing allows you to get out of these rational lies and start to be more rational. Okay. So this 4-7-8 technique forces the mind and the body to focus on regulating the breath rather than replaying your worries when you lie down at night. Okay, so if you focus on your breath, are you focusing on the million thoughts that are happening? You can't think of two thoughts at the same time. So this breath work allows you to do that. All right, so let's get right into it. The overall concept of 4-7-8 breathing can compare to practice like there's other types of breathing, and I'm not going to get into it. There's many different breathing exercises. Okay, so let's go right into it. The 4-7-8 breathing. Find a place right now. Sit or lie down comfortable, preferably sit for this particular meeting. Be sure you practice good posture, especially when starting out. If you're using this technique, you can fall asleep, so you guys can use this at night. Once again, I'm going to do it now. You do this for the rest of your life, okay? I'm actually going to a 5-hour workshop tomorrow. We're going to probably breathe for about 2 hours. If you're free tomorrow, you should probably sign up to change your life. Yeah? Oh, yeah, that's right. You should go. I'm telling you, life changing. Then you go in some cold ice afterwards. I'm talking about really life changing. So that's another conversation. Okay. But I'm talking about, I'm doing a 4-7-8 breath work right now, but there's other levels of stuff. All right. So, all right. The first is so I'm going to do it to show you guys. Right. All right. So first you got to have your lips apart. Okay. And you make a whooshing sound like this through your mouth. And then you close your lips. All right, let me just read it out loud. Okay, let me just do this.
Yeah, I was like, what's happening now?
Let me just follow the instructions. I do this naturally. I read instructions and I lose my mind. Okay. All right. So the follows should be carried out in the cycle of first. So you guys can read it. First, let your lips part and make a whooshing sound, exhaling completely through your mouth. Then next, you're going to close your lips and inhale silently through your nose as you count to 4. So 4, 7, 8 are counts. Okay. So watch this. So I'm going to go. Then I'm going to inhale for 4. Then for seconds, at 7 seconds, I'm going to hold. And then I'm going to make another whoosh and exhale for 8. Okay. And we're going to do that over and over. Okay. So watch. And then when you inhale again, you initiate a new cycle of breath. This is a pattern of a full 4 breaths. Okay. So start from the beginning. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, make a whooshing sound out. Inhale silently through your nose for 4. Hold for 7. And then out for 8. Keep your eyes closed. I'll just lead you guys. So that's what Alberto was talking about. This is going to be called a guided meditation. You guys just close your eyes. Now, whoosh on the way out. Close your lips. Inhale silently for 4 counts. Hold for 7. Let out 8 count. Do it one more time. Whoosh out. Inhale for 4. Hold for 7. We'll do a few more of these because this is beautiful right here. Okay, keep your eyes closed. See if we can do it in unison. Exhale. Inhale for 4. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. Now, on the next exhale for 8, I want you guys to make a sound like this. Ooh. Now, the reason of that is we store a lot of energy in there, negative energy that we can release. I learned this from a Navy SEAL named Mark Divine. You've heard about a lot of yoga people do this, Om and all that. Now, there's real science behind this, okay? So we're going to exhale. Keep your eyes closed, okay? When your eyes closed, the eyes of the world that don't see anymore allow the eyes from the inside to see, okay? So here we go. Exhale. Inhale with the mouth for 4. Hold for 7. When you're ready, exhale with an O. Ooh. Ooh, don't be afraid to make noise. Right? I have fun with it. We'll do another one of these, okay? Exhale again. Inhale for 4. Hold for 7. Exhale. Open your eyes. Who feels even that much more lighter?
A little bit more and I'll just pass out right here.
You could,
The real, no BS, I'll pass out.
I'll tell you what, your body physiologically, that's the fizzy. I gotta start off with fizzy. Physiologically, just shifted. Believe it or not, your body just turned a little alkaline. Everything shifted. Okay, everybody. All right. So 478. Practice that. Research it, and you could do it 3 times a day. If you just did 478 in the morning, at 3 o'clock when everybody runs to the coffee, not good. That's just gonna make you feel worse. No more caffeine. You gotta have a caffeine curfew. It's not good for you. Right after that, instead of going for the coffee, go for the 478. Okay. And then at night before you go to sleep, if you just started that as a basic meditation practice or exercise practice, I mean, your life is going to be different. Okay. Now, why is this stuff important? All right. So we're going to go right into the course. Okay. So, and now if there's any questions, feel free to put it in the chat because I don't want to lose anybody. But if you do have a question regarding, just put it in the chat and we'll address it. But there's something that happens. So think of a blank canvas. Okay. I'm gonna switch over to write my little lesson over here. Okay. Think of this blank canvas right here. Right? When you were born, no programming had happened. Okay.
Can you fix the images are blurry?
Yes. Right. So when we're born, our minds are blank, but then, you know, you may have had an abusive family and you get some scars. Okay. And then you know your teacher yelled at you. You slipped and fell in the cafeteria. You pooped your pants in the classroom. Okay. You know, maybe you had more abuse. Maybe somebody lied to you. Maybe you got hit by a car like me, right? Maybe you got in a fight, all right? You got bullied, okay? So by the time you're old, you have all of these programmings, and we make decisions based off all of these programmings that's happened in our environment. And these end up becoming thoughts, our emotions, our behaviors. These are our thoughts and emotions and behaviors. So then you get an hour presentation with Primerica or a 20-minute, and you're like, yes, I want to win. But then you got to go up against all of these thoughts. I failed at baseball. I didn't make it in sport. That girlfriend that broke up with me, I can't have another relationship. So now you're trying to improve your life, but you got to battle this. What breathing does, and this right here, believe it or not, is about 60,000 to 80,000 of these thoughts and emotions every day. So do you think when you go to make a phone call, this is like the big elephant. This is an elephant. You get an idea to come work in Primerica or lose weight or have a relationship. You're like a mice that's trying to go up. Your little goal has to go up against all of this crap. You see why most people fail? Your idea of success is going up all of these 80,000 thoughts. Who's going to win every time? The thoughts. That's why when you recruit somebody and they quit so fast, is because they never dealt with all of this and we didn't teach them how to do it all. What breathing does, it allows your thoughts to go away and get back to this. It really does. Now, it takes some time. You're not going to get rid of all of it, but that's what happened to Jessica the other day. Jessica didn't breathe, so she was hanging out with that all day long. It was gross.
Yeah.
I believe it. When I don't breathe, I'm like nasty. It's horrible. But just a little bit of breathing over time, and the better you get it, you can. Now, let me ask you a question. If you wanted to set some goals, is it easier to set goals on this piece of paper or on this piece of paper? Now you can write your goals on a clean mind. And like Jessica was saying, I am confident. I am an RVP, guess what? You're not going to have to write that information anymore. Woohoo! Whatever it is that you want, you can start writing, and now your brain has a different signal to go to. Because what happens is these are all brain patterns. These are all circuits in the mind. And these circuits in the mind new code into the mind. You start to program your brain in different ways. Now you have new neural circuits that now these things start to go. These are the new happy like things, right? These are the new circuits in your mind. Now these are going to work for you all day long. Does this make sense, guys? Yeah. Okay. So let me kind of show, I'm going to go right into what's, so we have 60,000, 80,000 thoughts every single day. Let me get out of this zone, this little camera here. We'll go back and forth here. So we have 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts every single day. Now, the thing is, those 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts, most are negative, 90% are negative, and 90% of a repeat of yesterday. So if you're trying to create a future, right? Aren't we here trying to create a future? You're here for a better future than we had in the past. Yet, what is your default future? Think about it. Ask yourself this question. Ask yourself the question, right? The quality of the questions you ask determine the quality of your life. So I want you to ask yourself the questions, right? What if you didn't change anything and your 60 to 80,000 thoughts that are negative, mostly negative, and mostly a repeat of the future? What does your future look like? Same as yesterday. Look at your friends and family right now. What are they doing anything different? Notice how their life just it's like a pattern. Okay, so what we just did with this breathing exercise allows those 60 to 80,000 thoughts to subside or to get weak. It's like no longer work. The reason I got hurt a couple weeks ago is because I didn't work out a certain muscle. I didn't exercise it. It got weak and it got hurt. So I got to exercise that muscle. So now it's stronger. The same thing with our mind. Okay, so there's a little story that I like to share, and it's a story of the story of two wolves. Okay, so it's a story of a Cherokee grandfather, Indian Cherokee grandfather, and his child. And I love this story because they're walking in the wilderness, and the grandfather goes to the child that goes, grandson, do you know there's two wolves inside of you? And he goes, what do you mean, grandfather? And then the grandfather goes, yeah, there's two wolves. One is really a mean wolf. This wolf lives in resentment, and it lives in anger, and it lives in fear, and it's always scared. This wolf inside of you, grandson, is always worried. It wants to be somebody, but it just goes back to fighting other wolves, and it's just a very sad and angry and upset wolf. And then he's like, oh my God, wow. But the grandfather goes, well, you know what? There's also another wolf inside of you, grandson. He goes, what is it? What do you mean, grandpa? He goes, yeah, this other wolf is full of love and abundance and gratitude and acceptance and just giving. And then, but they're all those two wolves, grandson, they're always battling inside of you. They're in your stomach, they're in your body. Those two wolves, the good wolf and the bad wolf, the abundant wolf and the anger wolf, they're battling inside of you, right? And he goes, well, which one of the wolves is going to win, grandpa? He goes, grandson, the wolf that you feed. So every human has this dance. You've heard about it, the angel and the devil, the good and the bad, it's there. But which one are we feeding, right? And through what everybody shared at the beginning, that meditation, before the day begins, when you start your day in meditation and breath and goals, guess which wolf you're going to feed? That wolf, that's like your God presence. That's Jesus. That's whatever you want to call it. That's like, you're anything on that side. But what happens is, and this is scientific being proven, we're not going to get into it because I'm studying even more amazing stuff, which we'll share in a deeper lecture another day. But a lot of this stuff exists in the left side of your brain. The left side of your brain is the intellectual side. It's the logical side. This is the one that does math and understands how to compute things and read things and understand what we're talking about right now. It's everything we're talking about is going into your left brain, but your left brain has no ability to create. That's on the right side, the creative brain. And when you think, I used to think creative like, oh, art or music. No, creative is like, I need to create my business. I need to create how to make phone calls in a way that I'm comfortable, or text. That creative brain is shut down when you don't sleep, when you're stressed out, when you're not exercising, when you're not breathing. And what the breathing does, scientifically, it's proven through brain scans, is it shuts down this left side of the brain, and all that noise, those 80 thoughts and 60 that are all negative, it shuts them down on this side, and it gives you access to the creative side. Okay, so that's really what's happening in the mind, is you get to access the side that's allow you to be love, abundance, creation, just like it says in the Bible, like we were created in God's image. And I have a quote: "We were created by the Creator to create." That's all over here on the right side of the brain, but you're never going to access over that if you don't stop. First thing, before these 80,000 thoughts kick in the morning, you got to stop them before they start, because once they get on a roll, you can't, so that's why the greatest thing to do is what everybody just said to this morning is if you can get up, use the bathroom, okay? Use the bathroom, do what you got to do, and go right into a place, I call it a sanctuary, or a sacred space that nobody's going to bother you. You got to tell your kids, you got to tell your wife, you got to tell your spouse, hey, I'm going to go and be private right now. I'm going to go breathe. I'm going to go pray to God. I don't care what you say, but you got to go to that place that you don't have to think. If you got to think of where I'm going to go every morning, you're already lost. Like a lot of CEOs, they want to preserve their thinking. That's why if you ever seen like a lot of these CEOs, they wear the same simple clothes, right? They just want to put on a clothes and go to work so they don't have to think on what they need to dress. Well, the same thing goes with the morning routine. Pick a place, guys, write this down. I'm going to pick a place every morning where I don't get bothered. I can go there, get it done, and do the exercises that we just spoke about that we're going to continue to speak about. Okay? All right. Any questions there so far? We're good? All right. I don't remember. There's a lot. I've heard it from many different. Oh, that book is fantastic. Yeah, the book is fantastic, which I'm learning about alchemy again, which is a whole other conversation. But the definition, it's funny. Well, alchemy, it's what I'm learning is alchemists used to be people that would turn to the wind, to the forces of different elements. Yeah, well, I don't know too much about it, but it was possible. But evidently, they could turn like regular stuff into gold, or they could turn. They could turn like stones into gold. But you know what? A lot of what I recently learned is that they used to hide. That's not really what they would do. Alchemy was really in the mind, that they can change. They can pivot from negative thoughts to from, like, we're all our life right now. We have to take full responsibility that where we are is our fault, but it's also our responsibility. So what the alchemy of the mind would be is they can actually change from a negative thought, or like being, it's like cause and effect. Like I can cause any effect that I want. That we can use to begin to understand and then implement, right? So the first one is something that we call the reticular activation system. I've talked about this in the past. I repeat it because I learn, and as much as I practice, I forget. So I want you to write this down, RAS, which is called the reticular activation system. Okay, reticular activation system. Now, what the reticular activation system's job, its job is to look into the environment. I may just write on the board just so I can talk like I did last time. What do you think? We'll try it out? Yeah, I'm gonna try that out. Yeah, let me try that out. So what the reticular, now you guys have all used the reticular activation system. Every single one of us have used it. The thing is, How much of our brain do we use and don't even know what the hell's going on? Like you don't, electricity. I don't know how electricity works. All I know is I turn on the switch and the light goes off, right? What happens between the switch and the light? I'm clueless. Now, in our brains, what if we took the time to really understand what's going on in here? Think about that. What if we really, now more than ever, it's available to us. So what the reticular activation system does is it looks into the environment, what's already been programmed in our brain. So if in our brain, the programming is 60 to 80,000 thoughts that come up every single day and are negative, what is it going to look for in the environment? So we have millions and billions and billions, what we call bits of information. Think about it. As I'm talking to this, looking at the screen, how much is around me right now? There's people, there's lights, there's trees moving, there's wind, there's all kinds of, there's billions of stuff going on around me. But the only thing that my mind is going to see is what it's programmed to see. So if you have 60 to 80,000 negative thoughts, it's obviously going to look into the environment for what's already been programmed. Prime example. I love this example. Think about a car that you bought recently, or it could have been years ago. Okay, and maybe you've never owned this car before, and it's the first time you own it, and you saw it for the first time on the lot. You leave the dealership. Guess what car you see everywhere now? You see that same car everywhere. But that car is everywhere now. Wasn't that same car in the street everywhere before? That car that you just thought was always there. But did you have the cells of recognition? Right? Did you have that? Did you have that car was never in your, it's hard to see there, right? Yeah, you can see it? Yeah, okay. You never had your reticular activation system working. I don't think it's spotlighted there. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So when you're writing, so we don't say write goals to write goals just to write goals. We don't say visualize how you want your future to look like for no reason. Every time you write your goals out over and over and over, guess what part of the brain you're programming? There's something in our brain called the reticular activation system that you program. Now, here's the secret. Whether you realize it or not, you're programming it every single day. The question is, are you programming it with what you want your future to be? Are you creating your future? Or are you letting the past thoughts and scenarios and experiences just repeat yourself? Think about it. Great news is you just learned a powerful tool. Now, I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on books and coaches and programs to learn this crap. So this is not me just making it up. I've learned it, I've used it, and it works. So I'm continuing to use it. Well, I think we earned 31,000 last month. This month we're already at 21,000 in income, and we'll probably crack another 30 this month. I got to put it in my reticular activation system, right? Exactly what I want to learn. Okay, so reticular activation system. Program what you want to then show up. All right. Questions, audience? Good. Okay. Scroll down here to the next one. By the way, don't think of a red apple. Do whatever you're doing. Don't think of a red apple. Right. Too late? You said, right. Too late. I told you not to do it though. Exactly. All right. Don't think of that. Don't think of, you understand? Don't think of not making that phone call. You can't. Okay. All right. The next thing is, this one's amazing. And this is very important to understand. And we already covered it a little bit, but we covered the concept behind it. But the next one is something we have. Share that. Oh, you know what? I'll just do it up here. I'll just keep it going up here. The next thing, there's a piece in our brain. This is very important, called the amygdala. Okay, the amygdala. This is like a little walnut size piece in the brain, and this job, its job is to protect us, like that saber-toothed tiger example. Now I'm getting, so I'm going to connect the amygdala and this is one of my most, this is probably one of my favorite concepts when you connect these two. Remember we talked about this job is to protect you. Remember the fight, flight, or freeze concept? That's this son of a gun. Now he could be your best friend or your worst enemy. What happens is when you go to make a phone call and you don't want to make it, this guy right here is basically, it's really this. Fear. It sends out fear chemicals, maybe cortisol or different type, to protect you, to go back to what's comfortable, back to a homeostasis, back to what you're normal. Your body wants, your mind wants you to go back to normal. Okay? And that's what does that. Now, when you breathe and you program your reticular activation system, guess what happens to this? Physically, and I read this multiple times in a Navy SEALs article, and I can pull it up. When you're not breathing and you're not doing these exercises, it gets big. So the bigger this is, guess what? The more fear you have, and the less you're going to do anything productive. But when you breathe and you program yourself and you do your RAS and you breathe and all that, this thing gets smaller. It physically, your fear organ, let's say, you can, all you biological people that watch this video online one day, just whatever, sorry. But you know what I'm trying to say. I'm paraphrasing all the nerdy stuff that I've read, okay? When you breathe, it gets smaller. Then instead of the fighting, you're gonna fight. Okay. Now here's the deal. Here's where lies here's where lies how you actually take action. When you start to reframe the fear, okay? Because fear is nothing but, which means I don't want to make that phone call. I care what people think. I'm scared of taking the test. I don't want to start, whatever that crap is. Fear is nothing but a sign that you're growing and heading into new territory, because the amygdala protects you from new territory. A saber-toothed tiger, somebody trying to stab you, is that not new territory? You've never seen that crap before. Holy crap, how do I deal with this guy that wants to fight me, my wife, my kids, right? Isn't that new territory? It's gonna kick in. But a phone call is a new territory. Taking a test is a new territory. So what's gonna happen is anytime you try to do something new, not only you, when you recruit somebody new, they're excited, but they go into new territory. So when they go into new territory, every time you recruit someone, they don't do anything, guess what's kicking in your new recruit? So you need to be able to massage them and help them out in that situation, because anytime you head into a new territory, fear's there, that kicks in. But what if you start to realize every time fear kicked in, it means I'm growing. I'm headed into new territory. What if you reframed it that way? Got it? Cool? Questions, audience? Okay, great. The next thing is something called, and this is very, very important. I mean, every one of these are important, okay? I'm excited. He's alive. I'm excited. And if you ever want to read a good book, this is all in the book by John Assaraf called The Answer. So the cybernetic mechanism. That's a hell of a word, right? Pretty much it's your self-image blueprint. Would you all agree that we all have our own self-image? We all have a self-image. You ever seen that little self-image of a little cat looking into a mirror and then the mirror shows a picture of a lion? What if we had that self-image? But if we had to be honest with you, everybody comes in here with probably a great self-image or a weak self-image. There's a book called Cyphernetics by Maxwell Maltz, and in that story, there's a case study where they did a plastic surgery on a bunch of ladies, and after the plastic surgery, the ladies looked completely different, but when they looked in the mirror, they didn't see any changes, because even though the outside was changed, they never changed the inside. So that self-image has to do with everything that I talked about in the beginning. All of this scars. This is a self-image, which is your psycho-cybernetic mechanism, which is in your brain. That's a piece in your brain that has you like look at yourself in the way that you have been programmed to look like. So one of the ways that you could begin to grow is to start and begin to take time in the morning to see yourself in a new self-image. Romero, what was that affirmation or that visualization you said you did?
It's seeing what I want to be. Example, Jessica and Carlos, you become RVP. One of the things that I see myself when I become RVP is walking out on stage. That's a visualization of something that I have not experienced, but that I want to experience. So I'm putting it in my mind that that's going to happen.
Love it, love it, love it. What Lewis said was, and I did the same thing. I'm sure Jessica did the same thing. Is when I wanted to be RVP, I didn't see myself RVP. I was scared to be RVP. So one of the ways so that was a fear, right? I'm scared of it. What does it look like? I've never been there before. It's new. What am I going to do? The responsibilities of people that I'm going to have. I mean, all the fears were there. But a simple daily exercise of seeing me getting my RVP contract, signing my RVP contract, my family in the audience, me giving a speech every morning over and over and over. Do you think that changed my psycho-cybernetic mechanism, my self-image? My, what do you call it? My blueprint? Which I'm glad we brought this up because we're going to go into the next topic. So some people do mirror work. I've never been a mirror work person, but some people look in the mirror and they start doing their affirmations like you're awesome, you're beautiful, you're incredible, you're a beast, you make $100,000 a minute, you can fly. Like there's different techniques out there. But once again, I'm just introducing concepts, but the purpose of me explaining these things is to pique your curiosity to go then do your research and know of the things that you need to work on. Okay, so moving on, the next topic is visualization. Now, most people, this is my discovery. Okay, this is my discovery. I mean, I'm sure it's discovered, but I've never read anybody else do this. This is from pure experience. There's two types of visualization. There's default visualization, and there's deliberate. Well, what's the difference between default and deliberate visualization? Well, it goes back to all of these thoughts that we have every day, the 60,000, 80 thoughts. They are thoughts, they're emotions, but they're visions too. Our thoughts, we see, our mind sees in pictures. So what I mean by default, when you wake up every morning, your mind is already by default seeing visions. When you close your eyes, the first time you close your eyes and you start breathing, it's the most uncomfortable part of the entire exercise. Because you're looking right at those 60 to 80,000 thoughts, right at those 60 to 80,000 emotions, right at those 60 to 80,000 visions. They're default, they're there. You can't do anything about those thoughts, right? They're there, they're right here, okay? But what happens is when you breathe, the default visions, they start to go away, and then you can do the deliberate visions. And the deliberate ones are the ones that you want to see what your life is going to look like. These are the ones you pray about. These are the ones that you want to, see yourself in a relationship, see yourself at an ideal weight, see yourself at ideal health, see yourself at an ideal income, seeing your credit cards at a zero balance, seeing your bank account at a certain balance, see your income, your daily balance. When you log on to Primerica online, you could see a certain income. Like one of the things that I do is when I check my income, there's a lower, I check it on something called the daily blast. On the lower right is where my totals is. One of my visions that I have all the time is because I check that sucker I refresh it every single night after 10 o'clock. Last night it took forever. I finally actually said, you know what, God's more important than money. Than to go to sleep, I'll check my income in the morning because they were taking for a little too long. But I refresh that thing every night. So in the mornings when I visualize, or now I do it throughout the day, all I visualize is that bottom right-hand corner, and I see 60,000 right there. Like I see it, it's clear as day. That's deliberate. But in order for me to deliberately visualize, I got to get rid of the crap first. Is this making sense? And the only way to get rid of the crap is to deal with it. How do you deal with your crap? Watch, let me show you. Because the second you close your eyes and you're not seeing out there, you're seeing in here. Everything. And by the way, if you just breathe it out, guess what? It's going to go. The crap does not want to leave you. Those 60,000 thoughts, they don't want to stay. They actually want to escape you.
Oh.
The way that I look at it is, you ever play lottery and those little balls that are going around that little thing and somebody gets to pick the lottery ball? Well, that's the same way. Those things are flying around out there, but when you breathe, they start leaving. The thoughts leave, everything leaves, everything's gone. And then poof, you're there and it's just you and a blank canvas and peace and God and love and prayer. And then you just be with that and you program the deliberate stuff. That's how you do it. How you do it? Practice every single day, consistent, you get better at it. Pretty cool. Yeah. Love this stuff, man. What's cool is that I've read about it and I've done it and I've read about it and I've done it. I've been doing it so much over the last 12 months. And now I'm reading about it again. I'm connecting the dots. Like what science says, what religion says, what I've experienced here. I'm like, oh my God, I read like that's what's happening. So we're going to be doing more teaching about this. Now, moving on. Okay, moving on. Now we're getting out of the brain now. So we just discussed parts of the brain, okay, and some exercises, all right, that we can do. Now we're going to go more into exercises, but at least we got reticular activation, we got amygdala, we got cybernetic mechanism. We just talked a little bit about visualization. The next thing that we need to talk about, which is very important, is this right here. What is your relationship with adversity? One of the things that the most successful people ever in anything, whether it's sports, music, if you look at anybody that's ever done anything great, they have an unbelievable relationship with adversity. And the opposite is true. The people that never win, the people that always struggle, the people that always complain, bitch, cry, don't show up, they struggle with adversity because it's how they perceive adversity. Oh, it's my fault. This always happens to me. When it rains, it pours. Those people. So if you want to be successful, you want to like embrace and love adversity. You want to be thankful for adversity. One of my favorite quotes is, every adversity, every heartache, every failure lives within it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. I'll repeat it. It's in Think and Grow Rich. Every adversity, every heartache, every failure lives within it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. What if you memorize that? When crap happened, you were just repeating that. I remember when my first daughter was being born, evidently the the umbilical cord was around her neck, and every time my wife would contract, the little thing would pop up that her heart was getting screwed up, and we had to rush into the thing. And I'm literally going with my wife into the and where she's gonna get all sliced up to take the baby out. I'm literally in my wife's ear, every adversity, every heartache, every failure. She almost killed me, but like this is what I was doing, right? So like, because like crap's happening, but something good is happening. What if every time you saw crap, you knew that something good was happening? What if you were able to train your brain so well that crap was awesome, right? Don DeMartini was another unbelievable person that you would want to check him out. Dr. John DeMartini says, wisdom is the instantaneous recognition that a crisis is a blessing. Wisdom is the instantaneous recognition that a crisis is a blessing. Some of you guys have heard this already, but is it ingrained? Are you repeating these quotes? Or do you have your own quotes that you figured out? All right, so adversity. All right, so write down adversity and start falling in love with adversity. And it sounds crazy, but love it. And guess what? You know what I found out? When you start falling in love with adversity, you really don't have adversity anymore. And when you do, it's like brush it off your shoulder. Like when I got hurt the other day and I had to go to the hospital, I had never been in so much pain in my life. It sucked. But I immediately started. I'm talking about immediately. I was happy. I'm like, what's the lesson here? What do I got to learn? What do I got to change? What do I got to take on? And I started saying, I got to start stretching. I got to take yoga. I got to start doing it. If I want to be performing at a high level, so I immediately started looking at the changes I need to make. Okay. So adversity. All right. The next two things that I'm going to talk about, I call this the bridge. This is new material, folks. Did I spell bridge right? Okay. All right. So there's a couple of bridges there's three bridges that I've learned. There's probably many of them, but these three bridges take you from being like where you are negatively or not where you want to be, because nobody is where they want to be. But let's say you want to go from, you wake up, you're not feeling you're not in a state of a beautiful state. Let's say there's only two states, and there really is only kind of two states. There's a lot of lessons from Tony Robbins, but you're either like in a suffering state or what they call a beautiful state. We all want to be in a beautiful state. Like this morning, I was not in a beautiful state. I was in a suffering state. Why? I woke up later than I expected. I was watching my child while I was supposed to be preparing. I wasn't prepared enough. I wish I could have made more phone calls. I was a nasty mother effer this morning. But I said, I can't stay here. And I saw it. This is ill. So I had to go do what I had to do. So the second my wife went on, I went outside, got some sun, did some push-ups, I moved around, I did my breathing, I did everything I needed to do, and I started shifting to this state. I took a cold shower, I listened to more meditation music on the way to the office, and I started doing this because I started blaming me getting up late and my wife, because I let her go do the workout. I started blaming. So the first bridge to go from a suffering state to a beautiful state, because would you rather live on a suffering state or a beautiful state? By the way, this goes back to our nervous systems. I'm talking about the sympathetic nervous system or the parasympathetic. Okay, going back to the wolves, everything is connected. Everything is connected. We're talking about. Okay, so this is going into a beautiful state. It's like using your parasympathetic, which is your rest. Sympathetic is like the amygdala kicking off. Okay, so the first thing on the bridge, and I got this from Jack Canfield. Okay, is take personal responsibility. Responsibility for what? Everything. No, but this, everything. No, but I was born over. No, I don't care. Take full responsibility for everything. You know, it's so funny. The first time I heard this, the song came into my mind. It ain't my fault. Did I do that? It wasn't me. Remember that song? It wasn't me. Lies! It was your fault. Take first. So this is a bridge. Take personal, everything. I got this from Jack Canfield, by the way. It's the first chapter of his book. I forgot the name of the book. Anyways, The second one is acceptance. You want to get out of this crap? Acceptance. But my parents, acceptance. You want to live in a beautiful state? You want to vibrate and radiate and perform and live at a high level where you're happy and you're vibrant and you're excited. And every time you answer the phone, it's like, yo, not, yo, what up, hello, right? Nobody wants to hear that crap. Yeah, how do you want to live? If you want to, acceptance. I am where I am today because of the decisions I made, because of the car. It's not the cards you were dealt, it's how you play the hand. You got me? Acceptance. And by far, the most powerful. Who wants to take a guess? A bridge to go. Huh? Good one. But no. It can be. That's the great equalizer. How about this? It starts with a G. Yeah, Tracy said gratitude. Fearless, unforgiving, undeniable gratitude. Now, what do you mean by gratitude? I used to be like, gratitude? How the hell? What is that? What do you mean, gratitude? Gratitude is putting yourself into a state of being. Who's ever heard count your what? Your blessings. I'm talking about inventory. One of the greatest things you can do is a list, a gratitude list. A gratitude list. I haven't done mine in a while, but I'm going to pull mine up real quick. Gratitude, guys. Gratitude allows you to go from a suffering state into a beautiful state. Now, one of the greatest ways, and there's different ways people do gratitude journals, which, you know, it's one of my things I gotta start doing again. I keep saying it, but I keep denying it. So let me show you mine, just to show you. And I haven't worked on it a lot, because once you start getting used to certain things, they just automatically become automatic. You know, one of the things that I've learned that the most successful people in the world are the most gratitude. Can you see my screen here? Is it sharing my screen? Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Look at this list. This is a list I used to do. Okay. On the left, look at my my left is my gratitude. I just started writing things to be gratitude. Look, it's all in alphabetical order. That's how anal I was. Gratitude. There are people, like, look, it's been a while since I wrote on it, right? I do it in my journal a lot. I wrote down 480 things. So I would just, every single morning with my computer during my routine, I would just think about the things that happened the day before or the week, or anything that I'm excited about the day. It could be a human being, it could be a feeling, it could be, I wrote down coffee, I had a kick-ass December, paying off my Honda car, you know, being debt-free, like, you know, like whatever it was, you know, like I wrote down, and what happens is by being present to things you're grateful for, you're going to start shifting your mind from the negative thoughts that are repeating every single day. You're going to start counting your blessings and taking inventory of everything you're grateful for. So guess what happens when you get into a state of being of gratitude? So what are some other words of other than gratitude? What's another word of saying of feeling gratitude? What's another word? Thankful, appreciate. Thankful, appreciate. So let's use thank you. Let me ask you a question. Work with me, Lewis. and let's look at like duality, right? There's give and there's what? If I give you something, you what? You received it, right? And if you receive something, what do you say? Thank you. You do, right? So when you're in state of gratitude for what you've received, what type of state of being do you get into? State of receiving. Now, if you're in a state where you're not thankful for what you have, I don't like my car, I don't like my house, I don't like my spouse, what's going to happen? You think you're going to receive more?
Of the negative thoughts.
Yeah, you're going to be receiving more of that.
Right.
But if you're not counting your blessing, putting yourself in a state of gratitude, how are you ever going to get into a vibration or a state of being or a frequency, for that matter, of receiving? It's not going to happen. Impossible. As a matter of fact, scientifically speaking, you cut off the energy, actually right here at your spine, that I've read, that stops the receivership of whatever that you're trying to receive. Pretty fascinating, right? So when you start to count your blessings and start thanking God, oh my God, thank you for this, thank you for that. And you could do it like, thank you for this, thank you for that. You can write it down and you start getting a feeling behind it. The goal is not just thank. Now, in the beginning, you may just be, okay, I'm going to go through the exercise. But the more that you start to, like this morning, I was like, all right, I was in that suffering state. I recognized I need to go into a beautiful state. One of the things that I do, I just like, you catch yourself. I feel nasty. I need to bridge. It was my fault. I accept it. Let me get into a state of gratitude. It almost becomes like an automatic way of being. Think about it every day. It's my responsibility. I accept it. God, thank you for everything. Thank you for my toes, for my legs, for my feet, for my mouth, for my eyes. You just start going into, you want to build momentum, gratitude momentum. And then now you're flying in that zone. And now it's like, wow, thank you for this, thank you for that. And things start showing up on your lap. So one of the things to take this on, there's books out there. I'm going to, we're always recommending books. It's just the way it is. There's a lady that wrote a book called, and this one, I was so fascinated by this book. And she's such a great author on how she writes. Her name is Pam. And you can just, listen, one of the things where I got overwhelmed by reading books, I said, screw this. I'm going to read what I got. But in the meantime, let me look up the author. So I would always, and I still do, look up the authors and find a lecture in 40 or 50 minutes. A lot of the times I could get the gist of it. But she wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich. It blew my mind. And she's funny too. So she has a lot of quotes. So I wrote that book and she just talks about G-R-O-U-T, Pam Grow. Yeah, blew my mind. I love that book so much. I actually went to go see her speak. We met. I'm actually friends with her on Facebook. Fantastic, fantastic book. She has some other cool books. And then I read another one by Joel Osteen that was pretty good on gratitude. So when I didn't get gratitude, you got to be thankful. I was like, what? I didn't get it. It didn't make sense. It didn't resonate with me. And so I had to research it, understand it, learn it. And then when I started learning it, I started practicing it. Then you start practicing it. Then you start feeling it. And then you start feeling it. Then it just becomes easy. You want everything that we're discussing, it's going to be practiced until it becomes automatic. Once again, it goes from the awkward stage to the mechanical stage to the natural stage. All right. So you guys got that? The bridge. What are the bridges? What are the bridges? First one is what? Take responsibility. Number 2 is acceptance. And number 3 is gratitude. To go from what state to what state? Suffering state to a beautiful state. Call it whatever the hell you want, right? Sympathetic, negative, happy, from pissed to happy. I don't care what you call it, but it's all science. It's really changing your physiology, and we're going to continue going on with that, and then we're going to go into the life insurance here in a few minutes. Okay, so let me go on to the next lesson. All right, so we got gratitude. We had adversity. We have gratitude. All right. Now, the next thing and the last, we're going to talk about additional. You talked about taking action. So we're going to talk about, and this is, I learned this straight from from Tony Robbins, okay? There's so one of the best ways to go, or not the best way, so everything I just shared has exercises, right? So we want to change our physiology, right? We want to change from the suffering state to a beautiful state, right? So the first thing that we got to do is focus. Okay, now when I say focus, I'm just summarizing everything. Focus goes back to what we talked about earlier, your morning routine. Your morning routine. When you're doing your morning routine, that's just really focusing. So doing all the things that we talked about, meditation, prayer, all that kind of stuff. All right. Now, the morning routine that we didn't really talk about is movement. There's gotta be movement. You gotta sweat somehow, some way. You gotta move. Movement, if you talked about action. Sometimes I don't, every human doesn't want to work. There's many times that I don't want to work, right? But I know that if I go move and I go outside with somebody, and I don't care if it's walking for 5 minutes, walking for 10 minutes, walking for 20 minutes, running, jumping in the pool, going on a bike ride, jumping up and down, doing jumping jacks, jump ropes, standing on your head, walking backwards. I don't care what you do, but you got to move. You got to move. It changes your physiology. And when you change your physiology, you're going from a suffering state to a beautiful state. I'm going to tell you what I believe is the easiest way to get your morning off to a good start. Okay. And this is, I'm down to a science with it. So let's say after you've met it, let's say you've done your morning routine. Okay. I think these are the easiest things to get yourself off to feeling good. All right. On the focus. Well, mind you, this is going to get you to focus. All right. I call it the 3-in-1 or the 4-in-1. Okay. First thing is you got to get sunlight. Got to get some sunlight. Sunlight, it has so much good stuff for you. Vitamin D, it calms you. It creates a serotonin in the body. I mean, it's just there's so many healthy good things for you, and it gets you in a good mood. So sunlight. And if it's raining that day, still go outside if you can, because the sun's still going through the clouds, right? You got to get some sunlight. The second thing you got to do, and you do it all at the same time. This is not like separate. Your bare feet. Yes, that's right. You put your damn bare feet in the freaking earth, because what happens is the earth we're like batteries. We're electrical human beings, and there's just like a battery has a positive and a negative charge. We have a positive and negative charge, and our rubber shoes don't allow us to connect and clean our bodies out. So when you put your foot on the ground daily for 10 to 15 minutes while you're looking at the sun, not only you're getting the sun, but you're cleaning your body out, and you're getting it's like a grounding, like any electronic piece needs to be grounded. Us as humans need to be grounded. There's doctors, you can look all this crap up. I'm just being a messenger right now. I'm not going to get too deep, but I'm telling you, as your Mr. Miyagi, that this crap works. Okay, you get your sunlight, you barefoot, and if you want to meditate outside and do some breathing, you do it all at the same time. You can breathe out there. So you're sitting down, you're barefooted, you're getting sunlight, you're breathing. And then number 4, you can move all at the same time. Think about it. You can stand up, you're getting the sun, you're barefooted, and you just start doing this stuff, right? Any crap like this, you can start doing jumping jacks, you can do squats, you could just, what if you did that for 10 to 15 minutes a day? Right? What is going to happen to your physiology? You're different. You know what Tony Robbins does? He could be sick, dying, fever. Like that guy's jumping up and back and down, like behind the stage. Why? Because he wants to change his physical state. It's changing your state. We got to change our state, because if you don't change your state, then you just wake up. Watch this. Watch this. Imagine you didn't do this. You wake up, bro, snooze. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Then you go, instead of going, you pee, and then instead of doing anything else, you eat some breakfast, or you're already sloppy, right? And then you drink a coffee, you're already stressed out, and then you add coffee to the mix. That's just gonna screw your old, like what they call your adrenals up. It's just gonna cause you even more stress. You shouldn't have a coffee. Yeah, actually, these scientists are now saying don't have coffee until an hour and a half after you wake up. And then you're like, all right, I gotta go prospect and make calls. I gotta go. Who are you gonna recruit? Who are you gonna talk to? Who are you gonna be? No, zero. You're not gonna have any results because you didn't change you're trying to affect the outside game without doing the inside game. When you get yourself to the highest point of the high, like, and you can really really get to it excited, enthusiastic. And if you look up enthusiastic, which it's like something having to do within God, inspiration, inspired, in spirit, like look up all these words, right? When you could get yourself there by yourself, now you take you go this, then you write your goals down and you take a shower, dude, you're gonna light up everybody that comes across your desk, right? But that's the secret right there. Okay, so focus. You got to do your morning routine and all of this stuff. Clear? Okay. Number two, and this is big, and this is a summary of everything we're doing, okay, of what we talked about, because this is all done, and this is language. I'm not talking about English, Spanish, Chinese. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm a little out of order, but whatever. I'm putting it all together. I'm talking about those 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts every single day. That's your language. That's your language. Your default language is everything, because that's what you're telling yourself. So how do you switch your language? Books. Trainings like this. See, books change your language. Those 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts, when you're reading, they can't live. When you're reading a line, you can't say, I suck, I'm a piece of crap, I'm not good enough. No, you're literally borrowing the language of other successful people and putting them into your brain, and then the other thoughts aren't living, they're dying as you're reading. I'm not a reader, change. I don't like to read, change. I don't enjoy reading, figure out how to make it fun. Okay, no, all right, stay the same. I mean, that's it. So you change your language, your self-talk, your self-language through books, through trainings like this. Man, YouTube, I mean, I don't agree with a lot of crap they do politically and stuff like that, but from a resource of education, it's life-changing. We're living in such an amazing time that we can literally go research. I mean, there's no shortage of information, of success. There's just shortage of people that want to learn the information. Which one do you want to be? The shortage of the people or the person that's doing it? Your car is a classroom. I love it. That Romero, you used to listen to self-talk radio, huh?
No, I couldn't talk. I would always listen to the music.
Oh,
I just changed the music that I'm listening to. Instead of listening to just mindlessness, pop radio, let's listen to music that's gonna put you in a connected state of mind.
got it. Yeah. Well, how many people listen to talk radio, sports talk? Kill yourself. I'm sorry, God. But the people that call in and why the Dolphins were doing this, they gotta fire that coach. And turn that, people listen to that crap all day long. Then they put the radio station on which the music is garbage. Then the radio personalities are more garbage. All they're like, what? Then like turn the TV off, turn the news off, like turn it all off. Listen to peaceful music. Listen to maybe spiritual music. Listen to successful people. I mean, in Primerica right now, there's so much information. This one took me a long time. I never understood this one. your environment. And what I mean by that, this is huge. It took me a long time. And this means your friends and family. This means recruits that are slowing you down, that are negative. You've recruited people, they're negative, they're not ready. Don't hold you back. This was my big problem. I wanted to save everybody, my friends, my family, my negative recruits. Who was I was working Primerica, and then the weekends I'm playing poker with people that aren't going anywhere. Right? Or I'm going to clubs and hanging out with friends that they're not going anywhere. And I'm trying those people. Didn't work.
The losers out of your life, son.
Yeah. And then I would hear success, huh? We've all done it. And I would hear my mentors say, like, don't hang around those people anymore. Screw you. Those are my friends. Those are my boys.
My brothers.
I go my brothers.
Misery loves company.
Misery loves company. And I would fight it. I'd be like, I can win and still hang out with my friends. I'm always gonna go back to the hood, homie. You know, right? And I grew up, those are my people. That's why I grew up with, right? No, not gonna work. So what we gotta have is new associations. You know? That's why we ever do any little get-togethers, you know, after an event. I'm like, now don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. If you have friends and family that are your clients and they support you and they give you, it's not, you know, some people, listen, this is not for everybody, but if you have supportive clients and supportive friends that believe you and cheer you on, yeah, you know, I'm not saying don't hang around with those people. I still have good friends, but there's plenty of that they don't, I don't call them to hang out with me. If you're not my client, you don't support me and you want to make fun of what I'm doing, I don't associate with you.
It's a state of mind at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because the problem is that they're poison. Their mind
They're
is
poison. It is
Yeah.
poison.
They're rotten. So
And if you
they're
have,
gonna try to get you to that, you know, mental stage.
absolutely. So I'm going to continue this. Your self-talk. I read a book on this by Chad Hauser. What do you say when you talk to yourself? That book is fire. What does it say when you talk to yourself? Huh?
What do you see in the mirror?
Yeah, the mirror work, right? Yeah, that guy, that guy lost weight by doing his self-talk in that book, right? So your self-talk, you're doing this whether you realize it or not. Everybody is. One of the ones I discovered after Tony Robbins was I'm not good enough. I was telling myself I'm not good enough. And I look back and like, when was the first time I told myself I wasn't good enough? It was when a time that I wanted to be a big time skateboarder when I was a kid and I never made it. Like things happened and had some ramps in my backyard and we had to throw them all away and I was pissed and I quit skating. I said, oh, I'm not gonna. Whoop, program done. So every time I tried to do something else, I was not good enough. Now but I look for the blessing, right? This is another day, another lesson is to learn what caused you to have this certain behavior, identify the moment that it happened, identify that. So like, what's the limiting self-talk that you're telling yourself? You guys got to do this on your own and we'll do other exercises on this, but you gotta ask yourself that question. Why am I doing this? What am I, I'm saying I'm scared to do this. When was the first time I was scared to do this? Oh shit. I was this kid, I was this age, this happened. Well, what happened? Oh, this happened. Okay, great. Well, what was the blessing out of it? Oh, I worked very hard. Since I wasn't good enough, I worked hard at everything that I did. And because I worked hard, I was successful, but I would never felt good enough. Even though I was winning in areas I wasn't good enough. But then when I realized that it actually was a blessing, now I feel good enough. Weird. I used to be scared. I used to be like, I'm not good enough. Like I knew everything in America, everything that I could put anybody in front of me. I was going to close the deal, but I still felt I was good enough. Like, oh, I'm talking to a doctor, I'm talking to an attorney. Now I'm like, put a doctor or attorney in front of me, let them say, like last night, my daughter, right? This is so cool. My daughter, she brushed her teeth like in 30 seconds. I'm like, bro, get your ass back in there. I go, you're just not educated on how to brush your teeth. Who's your dentist? I don't even know who my dentist is. That's the problem. And I'm already in my mind talking to the dentist. I'm going to the next dentist appointment. I'm going to talk to, I would have never talked to a dentist like this, right? Because he's a dentist. He's a doctor. I'm already in my mind. Mr. Dennis, how you doing? This is my daughter. Yeah, everything good. Let me ask you a question. What's your job here with my daughter? And it's really not to school the dentist, it's to school my daughter, but I'm also going to school the dentist because I want to, what's your job here? Well, really to clean her teeth. And what's your other job? I'm literally in my mind having a conversation with the dentist. What's your other job? Your job is to educate her so she makes good decisions at home, correct? Yeah, that's correct. So I think the dentist is like, going to be freaking out. But like, think about this. Since if I wasn't good enough, would I have talked to a dentist like that? No, because he's got some super duper extra degree. My dentist calls me out. I go to my dentist right now and I school him all. I'm teaching him about reticular activation system. He's my client. I'm teaching him about reticular activation system. I'm teaching him about 528 hertz because he puts that music on when I get my teeth cleaned while I'm there, and then he's calling me the other day and I'm coaching him about all this other stuff. And so, but anyways, but it's because I had a negative self-talk. And I identified my negative. So you want to ID. The only way to get out of the negative self-talk is you got to ID that what's negative. How do you ID what's negative? You sit in a quiet place and you say, "What's my what are my?" You see those negative talks. Just like Jessica caught that she was feeling negative. You have affirmations. You have sayings every single day that are negative. But humans don't even know that they're saying this because they don't stop to observe, right? You got to ID and observe the negative thoughts. Once you observe it, how can you change it if you don't observe it? You can't, right? You can't change anything you don't know what's going on. So you observe it, you change it, and then you find a blessing in it. There's always a blessing in everything negative that we happen, right? Remember the adversity? You find the blessing, and then you change it. What's good about? Okay, so everybody knows what they don't want. Meaning, I'm learning these. If you walked up to anybody in the street and you said, "Hey, what is it that you want?" I just don't want to be broke. I don't want to be sad. They'll spit that out. You wake up. What do you want? Bro, I just don't want to, I didn't ask you what you don't want. What do you want? No, everybody's programmed on what they don't want. They don't know. Like Mark Twain says, I can get anybody what it is that they want. The problem is I can't find anybody that knows what they want. Right?
What they don't want, they don't know what they want.
Right. Now here's beauty on what you don't want. What you don't want is access to what you do want. I got that from Abraham Hicks. Meaning, if you pay attention, what you don't want is right in front of your face. Like, I don't want to be broke. Got it. What's the opposite of broke? Wealthy. I don't want to worry. Okay. Well, what's the opposite of worry? Faith. So you mean you want to have faith? Yeah. Okay, great. Try that out. What do you want? I want to have faith. Hallelujah. You see what I'm saying? But if you're not paying attention what you don't want, then you can't bridge or get access to what it is that you do want. So knowing what you don't want is a beautiful thing if you're observing, if you're paying attention, if you're writing, if you're taking inventory while you're in that meditative silent state, you're working on those areas. All right, great.
Your sense of awareness has to be like up there.
Yes.
In order because this is the problem. People, there's nothing negative, but that's because they're not hearing themselves.
They're not hearing
They're not listening to themselves.
Yes. There's a little book that I read. You can read this in 2 or 3 trips to it.
Well, give it to me.
How Successful People Think by John Maxwell.
Oh.
It's this book. I bought it at Publix. It's a little book like this. Years ago, I read it, and it was talking about how different CEOs do different things. Some CEOs, they once a month they go to like the park or whatever, no phone, no nothing, and they think about what they're thinking about. Think about that. Think about what you're thinking about. Your mind. Pay attention to your attention. But what do? We wake up and we're all the phone, baby. Zoom, WhatsApp, email, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, noise. Adding on to the noise that's already there. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. And then you want to win here or anywhere? Good luck.
All right, what was the name of the book again?
How Successful People Think by John Maxwell. A good buddy of my demo, highly successful guy. He takes time all the time, hours, to just pay attention to what's going on in his brain. But do most humans do that? We get up and go, 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 and we burn out. And then we get stressed. And we wonder why people get cancer. Then it becomes the programming, and I know I'm overlapping stuff, but that's where the affirmations come. Okay? Because remember, I don't want to be broke. Then what do you want? I want to be wealthy.
I want to be successful.
I want to be successful. So then how do you impregnate your mind of an affirmation that must begin with, for the most part, what?
I am.
I am. I am is a rendition of amen, which means so be it. Most people don't know the definition of amen. Amen means so be it.
Amen. means good.
So when you say I am, it's I am successful. Instead of saying I like so be it that I am successful. I am powerful. Listen, speech to text. If you guys aren't using speech to text, I highly recommend speech to text. I was literally hauling ass trying to get ready for a I had some awesome affirmations that were surfacing in my brain, and
We got somebody in the chat, so it says, here's another short book that supports all your teaching today. No Excuses, The Power of Self-Discipline by Brian Tracy.
nice.
That's Shaylee. That's my girl.
Thank you, Shaylee. Yeah, Brian Tracy's a
We were listening to it yesterday. That's why it just came into, now that you're talking about all of this.
that's awesome.
What is it called?
It's called No Excuses, The Power of Self-Discipline.
Are you doing the same thing as last time, Tracy? Or are you taking
Not
personal?
really sure, but I'm taking notes.
Oh, you're taking notes, yeah, thank you. Perfect. Thank you. I'm gonna read this. So this is speech to text. I used my notes on my phone. I was brushing my teeth and I had all these cool affirmations. I was in the zone, but I didn't have time to write it. So I literally got my phone and I spoke this into it. I just wrote down, I'm a promoter, I'm a connector, I'm a communicator, I'm an event planner, I'm an event host, I am a testimony. I help others with their testimony. I'm a thinker, I'm a meditator, I'm a lover, I'm a helper, I'm a doer, I'm a winner. I just was flowing. I spoke it here, and now it's all written. You know how long it would take me to write? So did I just not change my self-talk there, right? Did I not create I am affirmations around that? So what did I just change? I'm changing my language. So now I am not good enough is not my language, or it's getting older, that muscle's dying, and I'm creating new mental muscles. All right, so you can do it journaling, you can write it all down, you know. All right. So all we just talked about really is just mental program. You can have vision boards, which we'll do another day. You can do all that's I mean, we can go on, but you get the gist of everything. I think here's the deal. There's no rules with all of this stuff. We live in a world of rules and what's right and what's wrong and what's good or bad. 15, 20, 30 minutes. If you could get up to an hour in the morning, that's you to figure out you. The most important thing to figure out is yourself. We beat ourselves up. Our thoughts are rampant all day long. We never take the time to heal ourselves, to massage ourselves, to analyze ourselves, to love ourselves, to pray, to breathe. It's the most important here, because what happens is, and I was talking to a guy the other day, I had a 3-hour conversation with this guy that I was prospecting, and he taught me more than I did. And I met him on Facebook. I said, let's connect, and we connected. 3-hour conversation. And sharp dude, he grew up as what's that religion that they knock on the doors a lot? Jehovah's Witness. He grew up like reading Bible on stage when he was 7, indoctrinated program. So he knows the Bible left and right. He broke out of that, but the dude knows his stuff. I mean, he was reciting the Bible, but he's talking about most people are going for the outside. I got to get this successful thing. I got to get this. I got to get that. And it's lower level stuff. Really, at the end of the day, we just want to be happy and free. At the end of the day, we just want to be joyful, want to be right? If you're joyful, nothing else matters, right? If you're blessed, right? So that's like the most highest level when you're free. Yet we put this off to the side and we hang around in these lower level areas of life. He goes, if you're here, you'll never get here. But if you focus on everyday feeling up here, everything else here is going to show up. I was like, I knew that crap, but I didn't know that crap. By the way, you know what I'm saying? So the most important thing you can do, Primerica is easy, but people are hard, right? And what I mean by people, we make it hard to ourselves. But once again, where do we learn this crap? We don't learn any of this, right? I've beat myself on the head learning all this crap, and now I want to teach this so you guys get it faster and quicker. And now it's more accepting, right? I used to learn about this stuff. You're like, oh, Brad, what are you doing now? You meditating? What's going on over here? Right? Yo, who's this? This guy's right? People do that to me, man. And now it's like, you know, hey, bro, you show me that. How do you do that? Exactly. But I have to, now I'm teaching it. I've gone to Norwegian cruise lines. I've gone to pharmacies. I've literally gotten paid. I haven't asked to do it. Hey man, will you come coach my team and I'll pay you? I'm like, all right. I'm not seeking it. It's just come on my lap. But literally pharmacies. I 2 times I've done a big pharmacy in Miami. I go up to another place and I'm just like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I just did all this crap because I was scared, honestly. I wanted to win. I was scared and I stumbled across this stuff, you know, but I'm telling you, the more we do this and we practice it and we teach it, a life insurance and a recruit is easy to do when we have this crap, right? Because you all know how to do this. You all know how to close, right? You all know how to do everything, but this.
Real quick, before you go
Yes.
on the subject, what is the definition of meditation again?
Oh, so glad you asked. Why'd you ask that, sir?
Because I forgot. I know you've given it to me before, but
How can I have forgotten? The definition of meditation, and I got this from Joe Dispenza, he got from and I'm glad you asked that, because most people hear meditation as thinking of nothing. Thinking of nothing is impossible. It's not that it's impossible, but we're always going to be, okay. Meditation by definition is to become familiar with. And it goes back to what we were talking about. When you sit down and you're quiet, very quickly, you're going to become familiar with all the thoughts and all the visions that are going on all day long, all the limiting beliefs, all the self-talk. It's good. When you close these eyes, you're going to see it in this eye. When these eyes close, this eye opens. It's called the third eye. I don't care anymore. I'm talking about this crap. It's a pineal gland that's there, and there's a connection with the pituitary gland. When you really do this for a while, it's another conversation. But when your third eye, when you really tap into your mind's eye, because you close out this, then you can see everything that you're thinking about. Not everything, but you'll start thinking about emails. You start seeing weird crap. Everything that you're dealing with will probably show up in some form or fashion. Some that makes sense. Oh my God, I wonder, I gotta go. What time? I gotta be somewhere at 9 o'clock. Everything is gonna be there. But when you just chill, you become familiar with, right? Then you could start. You can't work on yourself until you become familiar with yourself. And then if you do it for a while, what most people think meditation is a meditative state. A meditative state is when all of those thoughts start little by little, like passing away, clouds. They start coming like sentence, period, or sentence, period, gap, like in a book, sentence, period, gap. That gap between the two sentences starts to separate, and you could get to a place where Joe Dispenza says is the most familiar, unfamiliar place you've ever been. Yeah, and that place is like, you just know you're there because it's peace, it's love, it's God. I mean, I've had the most profound spiritual experiences by doing these exercises. I don't get there every day. Every day is different, but when you get there, you're meditating, and then that's when you can really ask for guidance. Like, Lord, show me what do I got to do, and then I hear from the God whenever I do that. But it's different, and it's so easy, really. But once again, it's not taught. But thank you for asking. Good question. All right, so we're good for that. Moving on. Any questions before we move on?
No, it was deep, profound.
Good.
I like it.
You work on yourself. Everything else is going to be just fine. Plus, when you work on that peaceful, life is happier. Like you're just more. You become like the Matrix. Like crap happens, you're like, ooh. You start to dodge stuff. Problems you see that crap coming. You're like, I'm not stepping into that. I'm not walking in that. I'm going this way, right? All right. This is what I was concerned about. We're going to finish with a meditation, all right, just to leave everybody chilling. Because obviously, go this inspirational conversation of life insurance. Well, we're going to talk about life insurance, okay? All right. So, to begin with life insurance, I'm going to go up here. Wow. Let's breathe. Yeah. I'm gonna just do it on your own. I'm just everybody relax because I need it for me to pivot into this life insurance thing. I gotta like really think. Breathe with me, please. Community breath. Breathe however you like. No rules. All right, I got it. Thank you. All right. Oh, very simple. This is messages that came to me. Why life insurance? Why life insurance? Very simple. Everybody needs it. Nobody's doing it the right way. Nobody's doing it the right way. Everybody needs it, and the ones that are doing it, except us, are not doing it the right way. That's why life insurance. Very simple. And if you want to be successful, find a problem, find a need in the marketplace, and solve it. That's it. That's success. Find a problem, solve it. Very simple. So life insurance. Everybody needs it. Nobody's doing it right. Okay. I'm gonna get right into the meat and potatoes. I'm not gonna get in too much why. We just did a whole hour and a half of why. So I'm gonna just get right into the practicality and pragmatic situations of everything. All right. So I don't know if that pragmatic was the right word, so I do that myself on that. We're gonna get into the practical aspects of everything. So let's go into what's out there. You're ready to take on the life insurance industry. You're licensed. Okay. What are you gonna face? You're gonna face 4 things and 4 things only. 4 things and 4 things only. So all you got to do is master these 4 things, and we're going to cover these 4 things. The first one is they have 0 life insurance. You're sitting with a husband and wife. They don't have life insurance. You need to explain why. This is always an emotional conversation. It has some logic in there, but it's always emotion. All right, first scenario, I call this the 4 scenarios in the marketplace. What I mean by the marketplace is households, families, 4 scenarios. That's it. 1, no life insurance. Number 2, group life insurance. That means at their job. They have life insurance at their job. I don't care if they're the military, the government, they have life insurance at their job. For those of you guys that already know this, I want you to be looking at this, that you're teaching this crap. So if you know this already, are you teaching it is the question. If you know it, are you teaching it? Become a good teacher. The next one is they have cash value life insurance. We'll cover that in a minute. And number 4, we have term insurance, which is what Primerica does. Okay, that's it. So all you got to do is get a license, set an appointment, and master 4 things. Because if you're at the kitchen table and they have no life insurance, you're going to know what to do. If they have life insurance at their job, you know how to answer that. If they have cash value life insurance, you know how to answer that. If they have term, you know how to deal with it. All you got to do is know how to deal with 4 things, and you can make thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Got me? All right. So let's stick with the first one, no life insurance. So if they have no life insurance, this is just a matter of an emotional conversation and really education. Because they have none, they just haven't been educated. Is really the bottom line. So you have to educate them, and you do that that's done in our presentation. And then you have to ask an emotional question. Now, this is the most important part. Okay, you're talking to a husband and wife, you're talking to a single mom. You have to paint the picture through a question. Now, this is uncomfortable for the agent to ask, and this is uncomfortable for the person to hear. But what I do know is when people are uncomfortable, they move, don't they? Mm-hmm. When you're comfortable, are you going to move? Mm-hmm. When you're uncomfortable, you're going to move? Yeah, right? So you got to paint the picture, and what I like to say is take them there. Do doctors ask uncomfortable questions? All the time. Yeah, doctors. So, but are you a financial doctor? Yeah. In this case, you're a life insurance doctor asking the uncomfortable questions. So let me give you an example. Danny and Tracy, may I use you guys? Sure. Okay. Can you are you on the Zoom as well? No. Okay. No. All right. Just talk loud enough so maybe the mic can hear you guys. Okay. You guys are married?
Yes.
You guys have kids?
Yes.
Do you have life insurance?
No.
First question, why don't you? I want to know. The first question before I do that is paint the picture through a question. It's really questions. Okay. I want to know why they don't have life insurance. Can I speak over why they're not doing something, or I should find out what they're doing or not doing first, right?
Find out.
Why don't you guys have life insurance?
Cost.
The cost? Okay. How about you? Give me another answer. Have you thought about it?
Don't know where to go get it.
Oh, you don't know where to go to get it. Got it. And there's a good answers. A lot of the times, since they're not educated, they think it's expensive because they may associate it with, dude, to replace a car it costs me $150 a month. This to replace it, you know what I'm saying? People don't know, right? So let me ask you a question. So here's the painting of the picture. Danny, you have a daughter, you work, right?
Yes.
If you died, another reason I want to paint the picture, but I want to find out if they really care to protect their family or not. Because if I ask and they don't care, I can't help you care about your protecting your kids. Like if you don't got that inside of you, I don't know. I didn't take that. I don't have that certification. You know what I'm saying? So if you work, right? If something happened, you God forbid, and I like to use this type. I use this one. You went home. You went to work today or tomorrow, and you didn't come back home tomorrow night because you passed away. I use that. That's my go-to question. Figure out whatever you like. You can borrow this one. Come up with your own. But kill the husband first. Right. However you do it. Always. Kill them. Okay. You died. You didn't come back tomorrow. Your income stopped. Am I painting the picture? Yeah. He's visualizing. I'm not coming home tomorrow night. I'm not. He's thinking car cry. I don't know what he's thinking. I let him not kill himself, really. Right. You don't come home tomorrow night. How's your wife and your daughter going to survive without your income? Now,
They're gonna struggle.
They're gonna struggle. Now, if they're like, then you say, are they gonna be well off or are they gonna start to struggle? What is he gonna say?
They're gonna start to
They're gonna
struggle.
start to struggle. Now here's the next question. Would you want them to live? Would you like for them to have a better life now?
Yes.
Yeah, while you're alive. But if you weren't here, their life is gonna get worse. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just really what life insurance does. Life insurance, even though you're not here anymore, you have enough life insurance coverage to continue to have your salary coming in. All right. If there was a way that you could protect your salary and yourself that did go home and didn't come back, and they could have an equal life or even better, is that something important for you to take care of?
Yes.
And if there was a way that we could put it into your budget that it didn't even cost that much, because that's one of the biggest things and misconceptions in life insurance is costs a lot of money. But if we could do it in a manner that was affordable and you had that peace of mind that if something happened to you, they were taken care of, is that something that you'd want to maybe take care of on another visit?
Definitely.
Especially if it was in your budget?
Definitely.
Okay. How about you, Tracy? If something happened to you, would you want, your husband and your daughter to be taken care of?
Yes.
Yes, of course. And you mentioned have you guys ever thought about something like this before in the past? I mean, it's probably crossed your mind here and there. Yeah, it crossed most people's mind, but is this a thought that you really want to spend time thinking about? No, that's why I'm here. I'm really, I like to paint the picture, and really put the scenario, but then we can solve it as well. So then you don't have to have those worrisome thoughts and you can actually go from being worried to having a peace of mind. All right, so we'll do, we'll figure out a budget and we'll get your date of birth and we'll get back together. We'll put a plan together that's in your budget and simultaneously make you feel good about what you're doing. Not only feel good, emotion. So that was all emotion. Because they didn't have life insurance, it's all about emotion. Right? And you just do that. Just paint an emotional picture of loss, paint the loss, paint the problem, offer the solution. Paint the problem, offer the solution. That's it. You can't offer a solution if you didn't take them there to the problem.
So expose the nightmare.
Expose the nightmare. I love that. Expose the nightmare. You have your license to have the solution. You just go online, you quote them. That's another topic. Okay. So that's scenario number one. No life insurance. Any comments on that? Okay. Here we go for fun. And I'm going to start explaining this. Number two, we're going to go into his examples. Group life insurance. Group life, which is basically you're just over broke.
Yep.
Where are you now? Ahí está. It's like the speaking song. All right. So, audience, what are the reasons you don't want to have a policy at your job? Number one, you want to memorize this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Memorize this. This is your job. This is your career. This is your business. It's going to change your life. No more boss. Number one reason is you don't own it. And I'll tell you, I'll prove it to you now in a second. What's the second one? Not enough coverage. And we're recording, right? So this is going to be an amazing video. What's number three? There's multiple. Huh? Yeah. Leave job. Yeah. It's not portable is the correct language. Since we're on the language tip. Basically, you can't leave it with you. You can't leave it.
You can't take it with you.
And you go, well, I haven't done my job. Well, how long are you going to be at your job?
For the rest of your life.
Oh, really? Oh, really? You're not going to get laid off? Okay. Maybe that's not a client for you. What's another one?
No additional benefits.
other than that.
That's a good one. No additional benefits like increasing benefit rider and term. I never really use that. What I like is it increases with age. And salary, because I got 5 times my salary. So if you got a raise, it's gonna go up. So these are the reasons why it does not make sense to have life insurance with your job. Any job. Okay, any job. I'm gonna leave that up there. So now let's go into some examples. Yay. Okay. By the way, these are just some of the life insurance copies or policies that I've collected over the years, and these are all group life insurance policies. So write down, I'm a master of collecting group life insurance policies. And the reason why I'm saying become a master of collecting group life insurance policies is because they're not easy to get. And the reason why they're not easy to get, see, when you become a life insurance client of us or any company, we give you a policy.
Correct.
If you work at a job, you don't get a policy.
That's what gonna be my next one. You don't have a policy.
Right, yeah, that's another good point. You don't have a physical policy. All right, so let's go, I'm gonna start picking a couple of these guys out. Actually, I'm gonna start with this. This is my easiest one. I'm gonna start with this one. And I like this one because this is a story. This is a story of a family member of mine, close to me. Okay, here was his group policy. Okay, very thick, right? Your benefit plan. Okay, anybody recognize that company? Univision. He worked for a huge company, and he's my family member. And I had insured his wife, and when it was time to insure him, guess what? He had life insurance at his job, and he's a smart guy. Makes over 200 grand a year, probably, maybe more at the time. Smart, and computer guy, very, very intelligent guy. But he loved his group life insurance. So I said, give me a copy of your policy. Took him forever. Finally got the copy. And when it goes back to, you don't own your policy, I'll show you. Right when you look at any single policy, switch over here, ladies and gentlemen. One of the reasons, listen, first thing about, let me do a, what do you call that? Before you, disclaimer, okay? Disclaimer, it's not really a disclaimer. There's clients that when you say, hey, you don't want to depend upon your life insurance at your job, if they agree with you, no, you're right, you don't need to worry about any of this crap. If they say, listen, the reason why you don't want to depend upon life, oh, you have life insurance at your job, that's great. But do you realize you can't depend upon it? It's not like, oh yeah, I know, I just get the free kind. I'm paying for it, but I know I need my own. Done. Don't do anything I'm about to tell you right now. Unless you want to get referrals or you're recruiting them, or do it after you close it. But if they agree with you, you don't have to, don't oversell the situation. But if they do fight against you and they love their job and they love their employer and they're paying for it, you need to go to work. So I had to go to work. I had it because remember, they all right. So you have to they have to go to the human resources or log into their employee portal and download this. This is not readily available because they don't have a copy of it. The main thing it says, this is group policy. This certificate is a contract between who? MetLife, the company, and the policy holder. Everybody thinks the policy holder is the client. But if you look right here, The policyholder is the company. 100% of the time. The policyholder is never, ever, 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 ever the client. It's always the company. Okay. So I'm going to go. So I was so anal to, I literally got the copy. Look at it all. I literally went to Kinko's. I printed all this stuff out. I highlighted it. I tabbed it. I put it in a freaking thing, and I went and presented the hell out of my argument. You got to do this sometimes. Okay. But let me tell you, when you do this once, guess what happens to your confidence? Through the roof. Okay. So I'm just going to go through these. I'm just going to go to some of these tabs here real quickly. I just want to find out some of the nuggets here. Okay. Bottom line, the main thing you need to know, there's a lot of little red tape. That's part of the reason why I put the red tape in here. It was some symbology here. I was going to subconsciously look at all the red tape, right? So I'm going to just find a couple that are very important here. And I'm going to get to the mathematics of here. They got to if your life insurance ends due to the end of the group policy. What do you mean the end of the group policy? What does that mean? That means your employer can end it whenever they want. Think about that. They can end it. If you leave your job, they can end it. Why'd they end it? I don't know. I found another company. I don't want to pay for the benefit anymore. I'm not going to get too anal about all this stuff. I just want to find one particular one. The employer reserves the right to change or terminate the plan at any time. So you're telling me you're paying for life insurance that your employer can do whatever the hell they want? Why would you ever pay for anything? So I want to close them first, guys. My first goal, well, I can't even see that. I want to, look at this. The employer reserves the right to change or terminate the plan at any time. Therefore, there is no guarantee that you will be eligible for insurance described herein for the duration of your employment. People are paying for this stuff, guys. Our job is to expose the nightmare. The future of the plan. I hope that this plan will be continued indefinitely, but Univision has the reserves the right to change or determine the plan in the future. Any such action will be taken only after careful consideration. Oh, I appreciate that. The board of directors shall be empowered to amend or terminate the plan. That's what it is, guys. All right, now let's go into the cost of the plan. Okay, now in here somewhere, if they ever leave, they do give them the option of oh, here it is. Yeah, I'm not going to go into this for lack of time because I'll show it to you on another policy. But it tells you if you do leave, you can convert it, but only to anything except the term policy. Right. So let's go into the pricing of the plan. Okay. Pricing of the plan was right here. All right, I'm gonna come back to it because it was just right here. Okay, so that's one group policy. I'm gonna show you a couple more group policies. All right, we'll come back to that. No big deal. Okay. Let's go over this one. Go over. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Let's just go over this one. Continue. So we're going over the same one at Univision. Sorry, I misplaced this. Okay. So there's a couple of things. All right. One thing you want to do. All right. One thing you want to do. When you're collecting a group contract, this is very important. What we just looked at right now was the policy. It's actually called a certificate of insurance. That's the actual name. So you want to be able to collect the policy or certificate of insurance. That's what you need. The second thing you're going to need is the rate sheet. Usually the rate sheet, which is basically what the cost of the life insurance is, never on the policy or certificate. So it's a separate sheet you need to get. So you really got to work. The third thing that helps you out is a pay stub. Why a pay stub? The pay stub is going to show exactly what's coming out of their checking account or what exactly they're paying for this. Okay. And a lot of the times, the fourth thing you want to collect is a benefit summary. Now, once again, the more anal they are, the more you have to collect. The less anal they are, the less you have to collect. In this particular case, I don't have the pay stub, but I have the benefit form. See right here? 2013 benefits enrollment form. I didn't close it that long ago. Maybe I did, but I don't know. Okay. What I did was right down in here, you can see he had supplemental life 300,000. Now, here's the beautiful thing where I closed it. He told me, no, man, I'm paying cheap. I'm paying 13 a paycheck for 300,000. But did you know it's going to go up? No, mine doesn't go up. Like that, firm. Mine doesn't go up. I go, really? In my back, I already know. But I'm not going to say, bro, you're wrong. I'm going to say, listen, what I found in all my experience is that every one of them goes up. Do you have the copy of the rate sheet? No. Do you mind just to kind of like, if we can take a look at that, just so I can kind of really show it to you? Yeah, no problem. And he gathered it. So he got me this first. Then he got me, oh no, he did not get me the rate sheet. This is, when I tell you guys got to dig and work and get your hands dirty, this is the rate sheet. You see, when you're younger, from age 30 to 34, you're paying 5 cents for every 1,000 of coverage. But when you get older, you get riskier. So it goes to 8 cents of coverage, which is almost double. And it goes to 9 cents, right? Then look at that. Look how it keeps going up, going up, going up every 5 years. And one thing that you guys need to know is every single group life insurance, every job, military, anywhere, federal government, corporations, they have this exact same scale. These numbers may be different, but it's always like this. Why? Because that's how the insurance companies do it. They write it. Now, he couldn't find this. He couldn't. He goes, Brand, I asked. I go, okay, Univision Corporate. I went to Google. I called the lady in New York, Kira Salazar. I emailed her. Hey, how you doing? I'm thinking of getting a job at Univision. One of my considerations are the benefits. Can you email me the insurance rates? Sure. Hi, Brant. As discussed, attaches the 2014 monthly contribution rates for the supplemental life under the universe. You can elect up to 4 times your salary. Thank you very much. That's what happened when I did all this work and I presented it to my family member. The right people was appreciative. Oh my God, that's amazing. I had no idea. I impressed the hell out of this person because I did the work. Now, so not only, so he was 40 at the time. I did 300,000 was $44. Sorry. Okay. So I did a quote with us, 40-year preferred plus 300,000, $44 a month. Now at the time, he was paying 13 times 2 is 26, 27 bi-weekly. He was probably paying $30 a month. So was ours more expensive? No, I'm sorry. Yeah. Was ours more expensive? Yeah. But he was 40. Okay. Once his went up, so I did the math. Okay, here's the math, okay? I basically did the math, all right? Well, actually, he needed 500,000, okay? So the way that I did it was the following. 40 to 44, it was 0.095. Remember? He's paying some so he's 40, he needs 500,000, so 0.095. I did this actually at the 300, I'm sorry, okay? Times the 300 would be this. So that's how much it would be costing him over there, okay? Per year, okay? Which was about $28.50 a month. Times 12 months, times 5 years, right? Because you got to do the math. So that his next 5 years was going to cost him $1,700 from age 40 to 44. From 44 to 9, it goes up from 0.095 that. So that's what the cost of the next one. The next 5 years, the next 5 years, the next 5 years. So his total cost is going to be $45,000. What I did with us was a 30-year for 300 was going to be $35 a month. I think over here was I'm sorry, the quote that I was doing over here was I don't know what I did here wrong. But anyways, that was the cost at the time. Okay. So what I did was 35.31, which was more expensive than the 28 at the time, times 12 times 30 was going to be almost 13,000. How much was theirs going to be? If he stayed at his job, his total cost was 45. If he got a term right now, the same cost over 30 years is 12,000, or like a third of the price. Plus you own it, plus it can't change it, plus. So not only are everything is a plus on ownership and everything, but now it's cheaper. So if you take 45 minus that, that's 32,000 in savings at 0%. But if you invested the difference, that averages out at 1,071 a year. If you invest that difference at 10%, that's $176,000 in your pocket. I did this at Kinko's. Literally at Kinko's, I wrote all this out and I say, plus you can't trust it. I'm saving you money, plus you can't trust it. And I even wrote triumph victory in the middle. Remember, you got to psych yourself out. So this exercise, guys, that I just showed you can be applied with any place you go. All right, here's the rate sheet again. Oh, by the way, he moved jobs a few years later and bought supplemental life insurance again. I had to do this exercise. I go, bro, did you not remember? I had to do the same thing over again. I replaced it. So I did another policy increase, replaced. So people have amnesia, guys. Okay. We're going to go into the military right here. This is the VGLI, the Veterans Group Life Insurance. So this is after they retire. So this was a client that I had. What's great about the government one, it's all public information. You don't have to go on a mission asking for the employee to give you the information. Don't even ask them. Well, you do want to ask them. You always ask, do you have a copy of your policy? Why do you ask that? Right. They don't have it. You already know they don't have it. And you want them to say, no, I don't have it. Do you have a copy of your policy, Louis? No, you don't know. Okay. You know why you don't have a copy? Because it's the exam. So you ask to expose, so they're the student, you're the teacher, and you just create right then and there, I'm the boss. You have a copy of policy? No. I knew that already. You don't say that, but right. Now, every now and then, if they whip it out and they have a copy of it, you're like, oh crap, I can mess around. This guy's sharp, right? You want to know. All right, so here's a VGLI, okay? All you do, the max coverage amount was 400,000. Guess what the chart looks like? 30 to 34, 35 to 39. Look at this. 400,000 is 56 monthly. Then it goes up to 70 monthly. Then 100 monthly. Expensive. Same thing. I'm not going to go deep into it. It's the rest of the truth. All right. look at this, guys. Primerica policy. Let me get out of here. Primerica policy. Look how thin that is. Beautiful.
That's one policy?
This is one life insurance policy.
That's ridiculous how big that is.
And there's
That's-
probably 10,000
In
ways
this-
on
in
one
this
page.
reality, like ridiculous.
You'll break a printer with this thing. Ink, right? If the other one was VGLI, this is FEGLI,
Government too?
Federal Employees Group Life Insurance.
Ah,
The federal government, guys. So if you work for the government and you have good benefits, this looks like good attorneys. Same thing, guys. Same exact thing. Or just a lot more red tape. Okay? Yeah. Wow is incredible. And it goes, look. Oh, damn it. I need to get two cameras. Okay? Look at it right there. The Federal Employees Group Life Insurance Handbook. There you go. Thank you. Think about this. Who in their right mind's ever going to read this thing except a nerd like me? Nobody. They're the rates right there. And they have different ones. It is so confusing. Look, more rates. That depends if you have plan option B, option A, option B, option, what do you call this one? The default one. I mean, it is just incredible. I mean, to understand this, and once again, I did the math, okay? I did the math. This particular case, I started younger, so that was cheaper, but it was still 28,000 for them. Ours for a 30-year plan, it was $43 a month. 43 times 12 times 30 times 30 years is 15,000. Is 15,000 less than 28,000? Do you own the policy? Right? You know, like all of that stuff. These policies go into, and I'm gonna find another one that's easier. Okay, but look how fun, look how crazy this is. This is if you worked with the county, okay? This is if you work with, for the county. Miami-Dade County Public Schools. The exact same thing, certificate of insurance, policyholder, Miami-Dade County Schools. It's all the same because it's like MetLife, there's only a few companies out there that actually do this. All right, so they're all the same. This was if I work for Bank United. Bank, financial institution. They should have the best financial products. And same thing. Here are the rates. All right? Here are the rates. Look at that. I have a fully licensed guy on my team that works at Bank United. That's how I got this. And he's paying for this stuff. So even the people that are licensed and trained, Carnival Corporation, policyholder, Carnival. This was a client of mine. Cigna, you work for another insurance company. Here are the rates. ADA, the American Dental Association. More of the same crap. Universal, actually. Walgreens, same crap. UPS, oh, I work for UPS. Great company. Well, you're gonna get stuck. All the same crap. Lincoln, this person worked for SBA Network Service. This person had a term life insurance policy. Attorney, I mean, he was not that smart for multiple reasons. Brand, I need to cancel my policy because blah, blah, blah. I got some cheap one out the work. Send it to me. Here goes again. Okay, you're right. Listen, there's work involved. Memorial Healthcare System. Yeah, policy holder, the hospital. SunTrust Banks. This was a client that works for SunTrust. Here are the rates.
Point out that when you have this stuff for your job, you have like a timeline where you have to do this.
Mm.
So if you don't feel pressured, like, oh shit, I have to do this by whatever, August 1st, because this is the open enrollment. I have to hurry up and do it, so then you pick whatever without researching things that we wait till the last minute. So they just jump on it and are like, oh, fuck it, they're gonna take $23 out of my paycheck, whatever.
Or
That-
do what their coworker does, what their coworker does, what their coworker does.
Yeah, they don't know any, but one goes back to the education. Okay, and I'm glad you brought that up because that's a good point. Oh, no, I just signed up for it. So I gotta wait a year. First of all, nobody can require you to continue to pay anything. If you want to cancel your damn insurance, you go in there and say, I'm canceling my insurance. Oh, I gotta wait for enrollment. Okay, or listen, let's get your policy and application going right now. Once you're approved, then you can cancel it there. Okay, so you gotta like sometimes work with that enrollment period. Just, it is what it is. But so when in October when enrollment, we'll do it. No, it's June. It's gonna take you 2 or 3 months to get approved. You need to be approved at least by enrollment so you can cancel or not have to sign up again. All right, so you gotta use these things. Going back to somebody that works at the city. This was a client that we were trying to get him insurance. No, but I'm getting a job with the city. They're gonna give me life insurance. You have any information? No. Google, I went to the city of Miami. We looked up the information. We found out all the specs that we needed to find, found out the table, went back, compared it to Primerica. He did the policy with us. Okay. Here's what I was going to tell you. Basic life insurance for Humana Associates. Okay. So check this out. All these policies I just showed you have this. Actually, it's not in this one here. Over here. You know what? I don't know what it is. Well, before we continue there, read this real quick. So I don't know where I got this. In the Florida statute. Well, here it is. All of these policies have this. Conversion on terminality of eligibility. Every single one of this. Well, if I leave, I could take it with me, right? The individual policy shall, at the option of such person, be on any one of the forms of the customer issued to the insurer. So this means it's conversion on termination. A group life insurance policy should provide it if the insurance or portion of it ceases, means the policy ends because of termination of employment or membership in class, or even if your members, your class of employee changes, like you get a higher title, some person is entitled to have him or her, without evidence of insurability, an individual policy. Bottom line says, if you leave the job, you could take it with you. Portable, right? If it's portable, the individual policy be on any one of the forms. You could get basically any policy by the insurer at that age and for the amount applied for, except that the group policy may exclude the option to elect term insurance. So that says is you could get any policy except term if you leave. So you can't even get a term. So that's group insurance, guys. Next one, which is similar to group, okay, is the stuff that they mail you. Clients a lot of the time say, oh, I get it through AARP or AAA. Look how pretty that is. Direct term life insurance. Oh, wow. AAA, bro, right? AAA. Oh, you recognize something?
Yeah.
So when they advertise on TV, when they advertise in the mail, they'll try to get you in on these. Oh, look, you could get $100,000 for $17.
AAPS, ready
That's
for
how they
pickup.
advertise it.
Here we
But
bill
on 50,
493
okay, it's $52. But then it goes to 78, it keeps going up. But you know what? Same thing. It goes the same thing, guys. Same thing. Right? Ours is this, right? 14,000 versus 46,000. But I never heard of Primerica. Okay, let me show you. Right? Space Coast, the banks send it. This was Carlos Pichardo's client. He got some stuff in the mail. We replaced it. So these are just all, I'm showing you all of, my purpose, guys, is to show you all of the examples that are out there, okay? Moving on, let's go to, so that's group insurance. Are you confident that you can get rid of any group insurance? You saw military, you saw government, you saw corporations, you saw everything. It's all the same. You just gotta ask for those things up here. Ask for these things, okay? Moving on. The next one, so we talked about no life insurance is emotion, group insurance. The next one, which is the most fun, is cash value. Cash value. All right, now I'm gonna switch over here because I'm gonna do a little quick lesson on this. Muy importante. There's different types of cash value, life insurance. Okay. In cash value, the most popular, it's whole life. It's universal, there's variable, and there's flexible premium. There's really these two types, whole life or universal variable. And I'm going to go over that in a second. Okay. Now, many a times people say, oh, they have a whole life, or I have a whole life. Oh, I have a whole life, but really it's universal. Or they'll say I have a universal, but it's really whole. So when somebody says I have a whole life, you really don't pay attention to anybody and what they say. Okay. In the sense, like, you want to investigate. So I'm going to explain to you really what the types of insurances that there are. There's really only so originally, when life insurance came out, there was no life insurance with savings. The first type of life insurance that came out is something called, okay, this is very important. You want to master this stuff. It's called decreasing term insurance. How does decreasing term insurance? Let me give an example. If you had $100,000 worth of life insurance, okay, of coverage, the way that this works is over time, your coverage each year goes down. But your payment, as a matter of fact, your payment remains the same. How does this work? When was this used to be? You get a mortgage years ago, it's $100,000. Each year your mortgage goes down. If your mortgage goes down, you need less life insurance. But since you're growing older, your payment remains the same for equal life insurance for the risk. So that's decreasing term. Okay. Now, if you add a savings plan to it, which the industry did, it becomes a whole life. When you add savings, all it is your coverage goes down and they put a little bit in savings. So at the end of your whole life, you have equal of $100,000 of savings. In the policy, it'll say age 100, age 110, doesn't matter. At the end of your whole life, your savings equals your coverage, but your payment remains the same. Now, out of all cash value life insurances, this is the least worst. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but this is the least worst because it's the most transparent cash value. So a whole life a whole life, just by language, we're all about language here. Whole life is, look, I'm saying all about language, but I'm not even spelling it right. A whole life is a decreasing term equals plus savings. So when your client goes, I have a whole life, all you need to know, it's a decreasing term plus savings. That's it. The second type of life insurance out there is called ART, which is called annual renewable term. And I'll give you why these policies made sense. Okay, annual renewable term, okay, the coverage of 100,000 remains the same. The premium goes up as you age. This is okay, so that's annual. When would this make sense? I'm a doctor, I'm in medical school, I have a family, I want very cheap premiums. But as I get older, I'm going to make more money, but I need a lot of coverage, right? I need a lot of coverage now, but I can't pay that much because I'm not getting paid yet. But what happens over time is, as I make more, I'll be able to afford the premiums. Now, when you add a savings to it, ART plus savings, that equals a universal life or a variable. These are the least transparent, because what happens is with these, the cost goes up so much that there's zero savings in the future. With whole life, guaranteed to have savings in the future. Annual renewable term or universal life, guaranteed not to have any savings in the future. Last but not least, we have decreasing term, annual renewable term, and then what we offer is level term, which means the coverage remains the same and the premium. So logically speaking, if you're going to have decreasing term, annual renewable term, or level term, which one would you rather have? Level. But guess what? Commissions are the cheapest here. I mean, people have to, the agents make the most money doing the other stuff, and they make the least money doing this. Okay. Any questions there? Pretty plain and simple. So that's how that goes. Let's look at one of these disasters called a whole life policy. Oh yeah. As Romero said, cash value can be called trash value.
Trash
Let's
value.
do this over
Me
here.
picking that. I don't know how that's going. Wow. No problem.
Okay. So this was actually Carlos's client. Okay. So this is a whole life policy. Okay. Notice it says whole life. This person was age 28. Look what they sold him. 516,000 of life insurance for 6,000 a year. $500 a month. Notice the amount of coverage, 516,000. Why 516? Because the question was not how much life insurance you need. The question is how much could you afford per month? The guy said 500. Okay, we could get you 516 in life insurance. Now, one of the things about a whole life policy is the first few years, we say in our presentation, there's no money in the policy. Well, he spent year one, spent 6,000, zero in cash value. Year two, 6,000, zero cash value. Year 3, he's put $18,000 and he only has $900. But this is supposed to be an investment. Nope. The agent that sold it, that does not even need to have an investment license. They're lying. They lie. But he bought it. He wasn't married. He didn't have any kids, and they sold him this. So by age 35, he was supposed to have how much? What is that number? 206,000. Okay. So let's remember that number, 206,000. With Primerica, 516,000 was $652 a year. A year. A year. Okay. So if you take 6,000 minus 652, that equals, we would save him $5,348. You multiply that times 3, that's something like 15,000, almost $16,000. 15,000, yeah, it's like 16,000 bucks. If he just put that savings under his mattress, he would have 16,000 at zero, right? Versus he was going to have $900 in his whole life policy. That 16,000 was the commission of the life insurance company. Guys, your friends and family and the friends and friends out there, they have this stuff. So let me show you something really cool.
And that also, right, when you call them and during that period, the insurance company will pencil your lead, that's the cost of insurance.
Yeah.
They
No.
won't tell you that it's for the commission. They'll say, in this example, that for the first 3 years, it costs $16,000 to insure for 20 years. Really?
It's listen, one of the things, and I highly recommend you guys buy the book Coach. Okay. You got to get your mat on. There's 2 things that motivate you here: your personal goals, your personal dreams, and then helping other people that are getting screwed. Right now, people are getting screwed left and right. Once you see 1 or 2 or 3 of these things in your home and your friends or your family, and you don't get pissed, you got to get pissed. Let me help you get pissed more. So what do we believe in? Buy term and invest different. So once you get your securities license, this is a software that you're using to do analytical stuff. All right, so what I'm going to, if you remember, after 35 years, he was only going to have 200,000, right? 200, so if he, 206 or 16, right? Okay, so guys, we believe in buy term and invest the difference. So if we remember, he was paying 6,000 a year, with us 650 a year. So we were saving him 5,000. That's not small. 5,300 a year. So what do? I say, listen, let's take that 5,000, let's put it in your Roth IRA. So this is how you do this. Okay, go over here. And we're gonna do, I said I was gonna do 35 years. Okay, 35 years comparison. All right, we're gonna do $5,340 of savings. And we're gonna do this, what's 35 years from now? What was 35 years ago? What year was that? We're in 2021. Yeah, 1986, right? 1986. Okay. Oh, so what month are we in? Okay, so 4/22/1986. No, that's 30 years ago. Okay. All right. Okay. You're right. Thank you. Well, it can be earlier than 1990. Okay, hold on a second. Okay. 1983 works, right? Yeah. And we're saving him $5,348, okay? All right, and we're doing that, it's 4/22, 1986, okay? So he's gonna save, now notice how I'm doing this, guys. I want you to see this because I want you guys to invest. He's gonna invest $53.48 every 12 months with us. So remember, he was only gonna have 206,000 with them, right? If he bought term and invested the difference with us, remember, 53.48. We did it for 35 years, from 1986. And now I'm going to show you a conservative mutual fund. If he did the same investment at the end of this, not 206,000, what's that number? 1 point, is it too small? Yeah. $1.4 million, guys.
Close to 206,000.
Versus 206. Who makes the difference? The life insurance company. For years, they've been ripping people off and ripping people off and ripping people off. The difference between the 200,000 and the 1.4 is pure profits to the life insurance.
So $800,000.
$1.2 million.
Oh, never mind that.
Oh, but wait, that was the conservative fund. I was trying, yeah. On the aggressive fund, 2.2. $2.1 million robbery to your friend, to your family member, to your cousin. I'm doing this so you're not scared to open your mouth. We got to talk to people. They have group insurance. They have cash value insurance. They have no life insurance, and you're out of a license. You have power, but you have to get over your amygdala. You have to have your self-image figured out. You got to breathe. You know, all of the things we talked about earlier, when you overcome all that and you get that bravery and that faith, and you get faith from the content, game over. Oh, by the way, last but not least, if he dies with the whole life, all the savings goes to the family. The family only gets the 500,000. When you buy term and invest the difference, you're leaving your family the millions plus the life insurance. I think you have something to go talk about. I think we can overcome our fears. See, our personal goals will get over our fears, or helping somebody else will get over our fears, or the combination of both is where the power lies. Pump yourself up, get your mat on about this crap. Game over for you in your future. All right, so that's a whole life. I'm going to show you one universal life. A term? What do you mean a term?
From the third scenario.
Okay. Term is easy. Yeah. Let me just show you a universal life real quick, and this will be quick because it's all here in one thing. All right, so here's a universal life. It works a little bit different. Remember how the other one, you knew exactly how much he was going to have at the end? He was going to have that 206,000.
Right.
Here, this is a universal life. Okay, real quick, this is easy to run through because it's already highlighted everything over. Okay, this was a person, age 36, male, 1.5 million. And this was a flexible premium adjustable life, also known as universal life. By the way, just to prove that, this guy right here, watch this. They made it called, they make things prettier. Flexible premium adjustable life. What the hell is that? Oh, just look at the catalog number. UL 980, universal life. They just changed the catalog numbers and stuff like that, okay? Yeah, it's pretty flexible. Flexible, that's crazy. All right, so 1.5. Now, look how much he's paying for this policy. $1.5,750 a month. Yep. Death plan option A, which we're going to go over that. Now, one thing to understand about these policies, they are annual renewable term, remember, plus fees. So watch this. He's paying $75.50 a month, which is $9,000 a year. Here's the cash value. Do most people open up their policies? No. Now, notice here, there's an accumulation amount. So his policy is growing, okay, each year. But since there's a surrender charge, he has zero. So 9,000, 18,000, 27,000, 36,000 he put in after 4 years, but he has zero in there because of the surrender charge. Now notice it keeps growing and it goes high to 70, 71. Then it starts starting 69. And then by the time he's 65, 30 years later, he has zero. Why? Because it's an annual renewable term. He's spending his $750 a month. He's spending his $9,000 a year. But as he gets older, remember how the rates go up in group? That goes up every 5 years. This is going up every year. Annual renewable term. But is the person going to understand how to read these decimals? No, the life insurance does it to confuse people, puts it in decimals. So that's the cost for every 1,000. So if he has 1.5 million, okay, the cost goes from that at 36. At 46, look how much he's paying per year. At 56. So because the cost keeps going up, later on, what happens, it eats the cash value because the cost is higher than the premium he's paying. When the cost is higher than the premium he's paying, look, he's paying $9,000 a year. At 56, it's costing him $13,000 a year. If it's costing the company $13,000, he's paying $9,000. The only way to get it is from the cash value. The policy lapses, goes out of business. Right now, as we speak, on YouTube, there are videos of senior citizens. Their policies are lapsing when they were promised a retirement account. It's happening as we speak because these policies were written in the 80s and 90s. So once again, oh, by the way, death benefit option A, the client only gets the specified the amount on the date of death or the accumulation. They don't get the life insurance in both. Well, here it comes. So these are the evil guys. Primerica's the superheroes. We are seriously superheroes in a world of financial villains. That's the way I look at it. 1.5 million with us, 30-year, not $750 a month, not $9,000 a year, but $1,800 a year or $173 a month. $750 with them, $174 with us, $5,676 saved. The same $576 saved per month, okay, in an S&P 500 fund. That's 2.3 million in almost 32 years. That's a 12% rate of return. 2.3 versus 0. But they made the 2.3. Guys, your friends have this policy. And here's the hardest part about this, okay? Is people were sold these policies like it was the best thing since sliced bread. How these guys that sell these policies they sell very well, but they don't know what they're selling, but they sell it in a way that they know, like they know what they're talking about. Listen, people that know what they're talking about could still sell. So when they come at you and they say, no, I got this and it comes with a savings, just allow. Be patient. Let them run their mouth. Let them, okay, no problem. But do you mind if I can examine it? We're still working on, if there was a way that I could just examine it, take a look at it. And if what you have is good, great. And if not, I can show you something different. You got to just ask for the policy. Get great at collecting the information, gathering the policy, gather the information. And then through education, you'll be able to mathematically prove what I just showed you, because everything I just showed you right now, no matter where you go, no matter what policy, what company, it's always the same, whether a group, Whether universal life, whether whole life, it's always the same math. It's just a different company. You just got to overcome. People don't want to realize they made a mistake. They want to defend that they made a good decision. Last but not least, as we wrap up, is term. And term is very simple, okay? Term is simple in the sense where, once again, grab the policy. There's going to be one of a few things. A, they have a good term policy, and you're going to say, congratulations, you have, now let me rephrase that. Not that it's a good term policy, but they have a term product, okay? Not that it's good, but they have a term product. Here's where if you ran it, so here's where I'll tell them to keep it. Maybe they're 45 and they got it 40 years ago, 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And when you do their financial needs analysis, since they locked it in 5 or 10 years ago, number one, it's cheaper because they were younger. Number two, they may not need it, right? Because of our philosophy, buy term, invest. The difference in the decreasing of responsibility, the theory of decreasing responsibility, they're not going to need it. So you just say, hey, congratulations. Now, where you can replace it is, number one, on renewal rates. When you open up the term policy and you look at the renewal rates, they go through the roof. So if they're going to need life insurance after the term is over, then it makes sense for them to possibly get another policy with us or replace it, okay? So the renewal rates. Number two is the price, meaning the price, ours is cheaper or ours is more expensive right now, but our renewal rates are the cheapest in the industry. So so even though they'll pay more with us, they're going to have better rates when they're older. So that may be a value that that person cares about. Now, that person, nah, man, no, in 15 years, bro, our house is paid off, this and that. I don't care. I'm good. Maybe it is what it is. But no, do you think you're going to want life insurance? Okay, well, let me show you. So they'll pay more with us as a benefit or a value of having cheaper renewal rates in the policy. Ours are always cheaper. The next thing I like to say is you've got to look at the term. Maybe they have a cheap rates at but their policy's over in 5 or 10 or 15 years, and they need 30 more years. So that may be another reason to replace it. The term is too short. Okay, so another thing is I like to call augment. Maybe they don't have enough coverage in their term. Maybe through the needs analysis, they need $1 million of life insurance, but that term they have from the old company, they only have 250,000. So what you do is say, listen, man, keep that policy. You got 10 years left, you got 8 years left, you got 15 years left. It's cheap, wonderful, but you need 1 million. So let's get 750,000 with us. Keep your policy and we'll augment your current situation. And this one I made up with. This one I made up. I call it life insurance diversification. What do I mean by that? Some people don't like to have all their eggs in one basket, right? It doesn't make sense to have all your eggs in one basket. Well, if you already have life insurance, it's cheap. Maybe they don't have enough coverage. Or maybe I say, listen, you already have a little bit of coverage over there. It's cheap or whatever, but you need a little bit more. Why don't you have life insurance from multiple companies? Ours have benefits that they don't have. So you may instead, all right, that's fine. Listen, maybe, why don't you keep your coverage over there? But why don't you get another 500,000 over here, 1 million over here, 250,000 over here? So if something happens, now something happens, not only is you're getting life insurance from one company, you're getting it for a life insurance company, because sometimes people are concerned is, well, what if your life insurance company goes out of business? They'll say that. But what happens if we go out of business? We're not going to go out of business. If we do, other life insurance companies just buy the life insurance companies out of business, but this you can be diversified. Now you have your eggs in different baskets, and you can actually, God forbid happen, your family get a benefit from here, benefit from there. That's how you handle term. Those are the 4 scenarios, guys. Oh, by the way, there's one more. One more. And it kind of goes over here. It's the conversion. What happens at the renewal rates at the end, the renewal rates are so expensive with terms out there that people will never pay them. Open up a term, any term you get out there, you'll see it. The terms are so expensive that the average person will not pay them, okay? And since the person's not gonna pay them, these term policies give a conversion option. Now, the conversion option, and every term has it, you just gotta look for it. The conversion option basically says, you can renew this policy to a whole life or universal life. You can convert it. Since these rates are too expensive, you can convert it to a whole life or a universal life. Which means if you had $500,000 and it's expensive, you can convert it to a whole life.
3 times more.
It's gonna be 3 times more, so you can only get maybe 25,000 or 10,000 or 15,000.
But you still have that.
But you'll still have life insurance,
I just replaced a term based on the renewal rates.
right? It's awesome.
She was gonna go from $74 a month to $1,800 a month.
Wow. Yeah, they're out there, man. And all you gotta do is show them your options. The rates are expensive. Or all you gotta do is, or if you wanna convert it, it's gonna be very expensive. So, yeah, look at this. This was a Transamerica term. 416 a year to 6,000 a year 1. And it just keeps going crazy. So this is important to show the client, because what clients look at their term policy at this page? Oh, 0.
They don't know how to read it. No. They're like,
Oh,
they think that, oh, no, it's a third policy. Wait, I'm insured until I'm 95.
yeah.
For $50, really?
I'm glad,
Use the coverage? Show me that.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because this is one of the concepts to grasp. Auto insurance, you pay it, and then they'll cause you to renew it. You get a new car, you move, accident, it's constantly being reviewed, okay? Health insurance, same thing. Homeowners, the same thing. Life insurance, it's pretty much fixed for long enough. The surprise comes so much later in life, and it's so morbid that you buy it and you hide your policy. You never understood it. The agent is probably quit and gone. Exactly. I don't like to look at it. So they put it away, never look at it. So they're not educated. They never look at it until a skilled Primerica agent. Listen, I've done these things in front of other regional vice presidents, and they're like, where do you come up with this stuff? I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of people have breakdown policies, but I've gotten more in depth with the group insurance and other stuff like that. So here's what's happening, going back to wrap up right now. Why are we doing this? Everybody needs it and nobody's doing it right. Everybody needs it, but I just showed you this stuff so that now you guys could go get your hands dirty. I've gotten my hands dirty. I've collected all of these policies. I've gone to the group stuff. When I say that nobody's doing it right, 30 years ago, there was 2,000 agents. Let me wrap up with this one thing, guys. One thing. Okay. And I gotta get a new statistic on this. Where's my little handy bill? Everything in this world has to do with supply and demand. Supply and demand. Supply and demand, supply and demand, supply and demand. And I gotta get a new chart, but this blew my mind. And I've shown it to you before, okay? What this is individual life insurance ownership remains at its lowest point ever. Now, this was as of 2015 or 16. Notice how the amount of group life, individual life, owns any life is just going down. Okay, here's what's happening. In 1970, 18 million policies were sold, population was 200 million. Fast forward in 2015, population is 322 million in the United States, but half the policies are being sold. Everybody needs it. Nobody's doing it right. And let me tell you something, even in Primerica, a lot of people aren't doing it right. Here's why, guys. In 1980, and I've heard even prior to that, in between this, look, there was 2,200 life insurance companies, total life companies at the year end, okay? 2,200. At 2015, there was 800 companies. I heard recently there was down to 500 life insurance companies left. If there's less life insurance companies, then there's less agents. These agents, there's two types of agents out there. There's the agent that just out of college, or they get recruited, they get a license, they're forced to sell some life insurance. They realize they're forced to sell the wrong life insurance. They notice it doesn't feel good, they quit. So life insurance agents get licensed, they start one of these horrible companies and they quit. And so these companies just recruit, license, train, they quit, and they just keep, it's just a revolving door of new agents selling to their families, new agents selling to their families, new agents selling to their families. That's one type of agent. The other type of agent is the dinosaur, like older guy that's been in the industry forever, has his referrals and keeps selling the wrong kind and mastered how to sell the wrong kind, and he's a snake. Those are the two types of agents. These guys are dying, these guys will last. So people that have life insurance, they don't have a real agent that they can turn to. Primerica is the only company that really has agents that have lasted a long time, okay? That's what differentiates us with everybody else, is the industry is shrinking and we're the only one that's doing it right. So do you see the opportunity? I'm gonna share this last thing with you. I keep saying that, but it's the truth. Listen, and this is really more so to just follow my lead. That's all I'm asking. In Primerica, this is a few years ago, I have to update it, but of all the agents in history with 100 million in personal face amount, this is number one, but this guy writes like 80 grand a month, but he has like 500 million, right? Tony and Shelly Narane. Out of Omar's hierarchy, Mark and Vanessa is number 34, company-wide, long-term, historical. And I'm over here at the time, I think I'm either higher or lower rank, but I'm number 69 with 198 million in force. That means clients that have bought their policies and kept it. I'm very proud to be number 60 something all time in Primerica history. Mark and I are the only ones in Omar's organization that are even on this list and are even in the top 10. Even guys like Willie Naranjo and other guys, they're way up on the list. Now, here's the difference. I'm happy about this, but I'm not happy about this because I want more of my people on this list, and I want to be on that other list that's like the team. All right, I want to get on. So my purpose is I know what I'm talking about. I've mastered this area, but I'm not good enough yet until I help other people master and we help more families. I can't help more families by myself, but I can train you to train people, to train people, to train people, and we're helping more people than ever before. And we literally can like look back on our life and like look at what we freaking did and what we accomplished, right? So you guys are next on the list to kill it. This we'll do another meditation and a phone call and a blitz on another day, but I think we covered some good material here today. So we're done. Amen.
Nice.
Thank you.
That was very, very good.
Bye, guys. Bye, online guys.